Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV, and we are here. We are at round 6 of GT Fusion, the final round of this World Championship. And what a race we've got for you this evening here in Group D. This is the lead amateur group on this Saturday evening, and I hope everyone is ready for some really good action. Hello Nick, how you doing? Wolf Factory Racing, how you doing? Thanks for watching. And David, thank you for being involved. So that is there you go, there's your car. It's the awesome Subaru BRZ GT300. Driven this car a lot in the last couple of days. It's a really cool car. Very pleased with it. Not so happy about the course. I'm not a big fan of AUTOPOLIS, but that's because I haven't driven it much. So qualification will start in 15 minutes time, which gives us a little bit of time to go through the runners this evening. So we have got from Prima, we've got Evan. Then from KKR, we've got Timmy, just in one KKR runner. Wolf Factory Racing, McRider and Francesco for those guys. How you doing, Philip? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. I don't know if any of the other guys have been streamed from Black Flag and HKRT, so this is the place to be. MTE, we've got Oscar Stepper. I hope I got that right. That's about right. There we go. HRT is Dachu. Also from MTE is Nirian, who was in this group last week as well. From GTWGP, that's Dijon. Then Kamalek from ATR. Tinino from the Shark Racing team. My friend Langstar from Amigos. And from RWS we've got Exoset. So there you runners this evening. I think everyone's pretty much getting involved. Yeah, from where it depends which McRider we get, because I've seen McRider do some brilliant driving, and then I've seen him do not so great driving. We'll see how it goes on. I think I've seen pretty much most of these guys racing at one stage or another, so we'll have a look. But I'm imagining that qualifying time is going to be somewhere around the low 142s. There or thereabouts. Race pace probably quite similar on the medium tyres, more like 44s. It's about 1.5-2 second loss on the hard compound tyres. Medium tyres don't last a huge amount of time here with these settings. You're probably looking at somewhere around 5 laps of any usable life in those tyres. So let's have a quick look at the track and what's occurring with the track itself. So here is your track guide. You can see I didn't do it in the this is a track I've done in the GR Supra, not the BRZ, but I don't see the point in having several track guides with lots of different cars. So there we go. It's 19 corners here at AUTOPOLIS. Very technical circuit, very complicated, quite difficult to navigate. How you doing, Pascal? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, and congratulations again on winning the GT Champions group. And back next season, and we'll see how if you can retain it. So this is in the GR Supra rather than the BRZ, as you can see. But you can see it's a very technical circuit. Inputs here very important, and you can see it's all about if you can get the flow around here right. That's the key to a good lap here. There's so many different types of corners, so many. There's a couple of big braking zones, but it is mostly about throttle control for a lot of these corners, and just having your car in the right part of the racetrack. Very difficult to overtake here, because of the nature of the track. There is a couple where you can make a move around the outside, but if the inside's closed off, it's going to be very difficult to overtake. This is one good overtaking spot. If anyone overshoots that, it's very easy to drive up the inside and nick a place there. You can also make the move around the outside if you are talented enough to keep the tyres on the track, of course. If you do go wide here, it can punish you, because the nature of the way these corners are laid out, there's a lot of grassy runoff, and if you do catch a bit of grass coming around a bend and lose grip, you can find yourself some way off the track. But it's the nature of racing, isn't it? This is the coming into the final sector here, which brings you back to the stadium end. Very tricky little succession of corners here. And you have to be patient before you get on the power there, because the corner goes seems to go on forever. That was a 1:52.8. It wasn't a GR4 car, of course. Imagine it'll be 10 seconds faster in this BRZ there or thereabouts. So we can go and have a look at get back into the lobby, shall we? So you know who the runners are. You know what is occurring in terms of what we're doing here. It's the Subaru BRZ GT300 around AUTOPOLIS. Let's get out there and see what sort of times people are putting in and have a look at the liveries. I love looking at the liveries and seeing what people have done. So there is Oscar Stepper from MTE. I want to have a look at the car, that's what I want to do. I want to see his livery, and that is very, very cool. Some work has gone into that one, definitely. A little bit of lag from him though. Don't know what's causing that. McRider, there he is. He's got his fans in the room. He's from Italy. Lovely pink and black livery on that. That's very, very, very cool looking. Camille K for SRC. Love the little gold, ATR, the little gold emblem on the side. That's pretty cool. Evan for Prima Racing Team. You know, Prima's got a very, very good stock. Very, anyone that's racing for Prima, you know, is going to be a threat in this race. And there's Nirian, also the MTE driver. We've seen that livery already. There is Tinny. There he is for Shark Racing Team. Shark always chucking out some really cool stuff. There's Pala, and he's no pal of mine, but do love the yellow detail on that one. There's my friend Lankstar. I know he's really cool because I've seen it already. I was in the room earlier. So in terms of times, what have we got? What are people putting? Camilla's done a 1:41.7. So what did I say it was going to be? I said it was going to be low 42s qualifying. I'm not far off it. I mean, 41.9 is a low 42, isn't it? Just under 42. Oscar Stepper 41.9, 41.7 for Camille, 42.2 for Evan, McRider 42.6, Nirian 42.8. Not much in it, to be fair. He hasn't put a hot lap yet. Neither has Tinny. So we're just waiting for the last few to come in, then we can get cracking with the qualifying. So it is 4 races here as usual. It's 2 hot lap qualifying for race number 1, and then races 2, 3 and 4 are a single hot lap quali. The beauty of hot lap quali is that things can go horribly wrong. When you've got 2 laps, not so bad, but when you've just got the 1 hot lap quali, it only takes you messing up 1 or 2 corners, and with how close these guys are going to be in terms of pace, it's really going to cause a problem or 2 if you can't get that dialed in. But there are 4 races today, and every opportunity to improve. Oh, is it now 15 minutes, Langster? Oh, it would be, wouldn't it? They would change it right at the last, wouldn't they? Okay, so it's not hot lap qualifying. Ignore me, I'm talking absolute dog shit. It's a 15-minute qualifying session. So there we go. Yeah, I did notice, and 2, 3 and 4 are probably. Now, to be fair, I probably should. Well, I should probably look this stuff up, but equally they probably should have told me. But there we go. I don't really pay attention to this kind of thing. I'm just here to look pretty and sound like a late night radio host. Yeah. I was just based on the qualification on race 1. Okay, cool. That helps me a lot. I'm still trying to get my head around the ELO, to be honest, and how it's worked out and all that kind of thing. But glad it's not my job to do it, Langstar. Absolutely glad it's not my job to do. So, yeah, well, I said it was going to be low 42s for qualifying time. As we can see, Oscar Stepper has done a 41.6, so maybe qualifying. Are we going to get a low 41 qualifying time? Possibly. I suppose as they ramp it up a little bit, they might be able to squeeze it out. Remember, they're on the medium tyres, not going to be on the soft tyres, so it's not going to be as quick as it possibly could be. They've got to use both compounds, mediums and hard compound tyres. The mediums should last about 5 laps, there or thereabouts. Possibly 6 laps. I think it depends on how hard you push them, really. But from the testing up and watching, it seems that anything beyond 5 laps, you're starting to dance with the devil a little bit. And of course, yeah, it does rely on what sort of setup you've got in your car as well. How you've got your car set up before the race. You can obviously make it more or less tyre intensive. But you know, it's one of those things. It's quite a high tyre wear, and this track is not the least abrasive track on the game. So, pretty much everybody has set a time of sorts, a representative time of sorts, of course. But most just sitting in the pits and waiting. But we will be starting qualifying very, very soon, in 5 minutes for qualifying here. So this is the last race of this season's World Championship, and it's been a really awesome 6 races, to be fair. And I've enjoyed being involved, very much so enjoyed being involved in it, and hopefully we'll be involved again next year. And next year we'll have a few more drivers. So this is obviously Group D. This is the lead amateur lounge. Tomorrow will be the 3 pro groups, and that's an hour earlier, I think, on a Sunday. Or no, 2 hours earlier. It's at 6 p.m. rather than 8 p.m. Well, in the UK anyway. It depends where you are in the world, of course, as to what time it is for you. But in this group tonight, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 runners. And I think we've got all 12 in the room. We have indeed. So everybody has shown up. Favourites. Well, to be fair, I mean, I don't know about you guys that are watching who you think is going to win this. But I'm looking at the runners here. And based on the sort of pace I've seen, it's difficult to call. I think it's really difficult to call. I mean, Pala, yeah, certainly could. Camille's pretty quick. We know McRider on his day can chuck out some decent lap times. Langston's also quite quick. Well, to be fair, they're here because they're all quick. So I think it's really down to longevity of performance, really. Can you go every lap without a mistake? And can you qualify well? I think qualification is going to be key here. You're going to need to qualify near the front if you want to stand a chance, because these guys are all very similar in terms of pace. And of course, because there's 4 races, there's always another chance to give it a crack. Good luck to those running in other groups, particularly those from Black Flag who are representing HKRT in group. Obviously, we've got Kevin in the pro group tomorrow. In Group A, the pro group, we've got Patrick. He's in Group I think, and then we've got 2 runners in Group J. That'll be Stormfly and Star Group, and then we've got 1 more running in the final group, which is Group M. Yeah, Group M, and that's Jay. So good luck to all of those running this evening. Obviously, good luck to everybody here. And I don't know what's just happened to the lobby. The lobby has just disappeared. Try again, shall we? Reset, kicked out, reset, done. Right, so we're in. So anyone that's just joining us, good evening, Bandit. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Yes, so anyone that's just joined us, this is Group D of GT Fusion, round number 6. We are in the Subaru BRZ GT300 at AUTOPOLIS Racing Circuit, International Raceway, or whatever it's called. we've got 12 runners this evening. This is the lead amateur group. Unfortunately, because it's the last race, they can't jump from here into the pro groups because it's the last race of the season. But, of course, GT Fusion will be back next year with another succession of really cool races. And obviously now we have some proper qualifying, which no longer the hot lap format, which we've had for the whole season, as I've been reliably informed by Lankster. It is now the 15 minutes for race number 1, and that is where your ELO is based on the performance in that qualification. And then race 2, 3 and 4, all with a 5-minute qualification period. So I think we're ready to start qualifying pretty soon, aren't we? Driver names, and what do we want? Do we want nicknames or do we want online IDs? Let's have a look. Display all information. Right, we've got 8 so far ticked in and on track. So Evan is the first out from France for the Prima Racing team. He's a Prima driver, you know he's going to be quick. A bit laggy though, unfortunately, and a spin there. That's not what you want to be doing early on. You certainly don't want to be doing that in the race. Look at KKR Timmy from the Netherlands. We've got Dachu from Poland. That's Poland. It's Polish flag, isn't it? Of course it is. We've got another Frenchman at Exet also from France. I lost my train of thought completely then. So also from France, Exet. Oscar Stepa. Is that Croatia? I think it is. Then we've got Tinino from Italy for the Shark Racing team. Langstar for Amigos Racing team from the United Kingdom. Of course, he's going to be with the one I want to go for because obviously I'm a Brit, he's a Brit, and yeah, well, there we go. You just told me Work Bandit. It was a bit late to be finishing, mate, but yeah, good on you for joining in with this. There is Kamilek. He's from. I'm sure that's Poland. I'm not very good with my flags, guys, as you probably can work out. McRider from Italia, and Nirian also. I can't remember. If it's not Poland, then please tell me. I can't remember. I'm going to look it up. That'd be a good idea. So Evan stopped on the track. That's not ideal for everyone else that is currently out there trying to set some laps. But he is back underway again, which is good, which is very good. We'll do an on board with one of the drivers in a minute when someone's on a hot lap. Let's not do it with him because he's too laggy. It is a little bit laggy today, fellas, I've got to say. Hope that improves. Can't be dealing with the lag in the lobbies, man. Right, so here's the on board with Tim. He's going to start a lap in a second. So we'll do the on board. Francesco joining us finally. So here we go. So this is the lap around Autopolis in the BRZ and not the Super like I did on my video. I just want to be clear, it wasn't me driving in that. Anyone that's seen me drive before will know it wasn't me driving in that video because I'm just not that good. And here we go. So 1:40.8 for him, and then he dives into the pits. So thanks for that. He's on a go slow Dachu. He's not going to be setting any sort of blistering time driving that slowly. He's an auto drive, isn't he? Yes, he is. He's using auto drive. Naughty, naughty. Maybe not an auto drive. Don't know what's going on there. So everything reset. We are going to be underway now, I think. Who's going to be first to jump out? That's the question. Who's brave enough? Hi, how you doing, pal? Good of you to join us. You're looking for Dachu to make a to chuck in some big points for you today, are you? I think he's closer to everybody. To be fair, they're all relatively the same in terms of pace. I would have thought. The fact that here would suggest that anyway. So that was the livery I wanted to look at that you guys didn't see before, and that's the Amigos Racing Team livery, which is really good. I love that. I love that blue and yellow livery. Very, very cool. Lagfest, I hear you say. It is indeed. So all 12 are ticked in and all 12 are on the track, ready to set some qualifying pace for us. Let's go to the guy here out in front. So that's Langster, who's first out. So Langster will be the first one to set a lap, and we'll do it on board with him, shall we? Let's do that. Let's go on board with Langster. If we get the right one, that's the one. I want to sit in that seat next to him. So it looks like he's driving and he's taking me to the shops. So this turn, it takes an age to get around this corner. But as soon as you are out on the power and then you head down to start a hot lap. So here we go. This is his hot lap. Everyone's starting their first hot lap. Now we've got 15 minutes of qualifying. So, you know, basically you've got a chance to put in somewhere around, I don't know, well, you probably 5 good solid laps, I think, you can put in. And you know, ideally what you want to do is you want to burn the fuel down so you make the car lighter and then get a couple of laps in with some lower fuel. And it is all about corner exit here, because there's so many corners. Your exit out of each corner not only has to be, you know, if they'll be out of the corner quick, you have to be ready to lined up for the next corner, because they just come at you one after the other. There's no real, so apart from the start finish straight, there's no real long straights here in order to sort of get a bit of slipstream and tie it here. I mean, this is the second longest straight in the game, and that's pretty much it. And it's just literally every corner comes one after the other, bang, then straight onto the next one, straight onto the next one. And I know it kind of sounds obvious, you know, one corner after another, but you know, but what I mean by that is that literally, once you've come out of one corner, you're already preparing for the next. It's that kind of frenetic, that kind of fast pace, and you do have to be looking sometimes, you know, a little bit further up the road than the corner you're on, because the exit from one corner is going to set you up for the next, and it's really important to make sure you are set up correctly, especially if you're changing direction left to right, right to left. So there we go. So that is a 1:41.6 there from Langster for the Amigos Racing Team. But Timmy goes fastest with a 1:40.4. So I said we'd be looking for something under 1:40, so 1:41. That's very, very quick there from Timmy. Evan with a 40.8, Exocet with a 41.2, so just two drivers sub 1:41 at the moment. Langster dropping down the order as Dachu with a 1:40.7 puts himself on the front row alongside Timmy. Row 2 at the moment is Evan with a 40.8 and Exocet with a 41.2. Francesco now rounds out row 3, well, briefly, until Oscar Stepper steps in. Oscar Stepper in and gets ahead of him. That's a 41.4, 41.4 dead in fact, and Francesco next to him on row 3 with a 41.5. There's Langston all the way down, 41.6 down in row 4, and he got literally 4 thousandths of a second behind him, McRider. So they're both going to be looking for a bit more time there. Tinny, that's what I'm going to call him, it's too difficult to say his name. Tinny just behind them, he's on row 5 with a 41.6, and Dijon Dijon, with a 42.0 alongside him on row 5. Row 6 at the moment is Nirian and Camille. Forza Wolf, Forza Ragazzi. Did I pronounce that right? I hope I did. So no change. No, there is, because Exocet's on the front row now. That was a 40.5. So the time's starting to tumble. The top 4 all sub 41. Then outside that top 4, we've got Oscar Stepper is the best of the rest with a 41.4. Has he gone faster? Doesn't look like this one is faster. In fact, it's slower. Oh, that is a little bit faster. 41.2. 41.2 for him. Who's next across the line? That was Tiddy, and Tiddy with a 41.9, slower than his previous lap. Next we'll have... Oh, come on. That's the one. There we go. Langston will be next across the line. He's done he's slightly improved with a 41.5. Did a 41.6 in his first hot lap, 41.5 in his second hot lap. Now, I mean, he's literally 2 thousandths of a second behind Francesco and wants to get himself back ahead, and ideally wants to get himself further up the field completely if he can. Is it looking quicker? Not sure how much quicker that's looking from there. Would love to... I'm very, very grateful to PD for giving us the proper qualifying. A little bit faster still with a 41.4. So he is starting to nick a little bit of time, and that puts him up onto the third row, jumping Francesco and McRider. So full order is pole position will be Timmy, if it stays as it is, of course. He has done a 140.2. Is there a sub 140 in this? Can someone put in that kind of crazy lap? That'd be mental. If they can. I'm not sure they can, but you never know. So 140.2 is the time to beat for Timmy. Exocet will join him on the front row with a 40.5. Did a 41.2 initially. Then his second hot lap, he got a lovely 40.5 out of the bag. Then Dachu with a 40.7 heads up row 2. It's got Evan for company there, 40.8. Hasn't been able to even get close to that since he set that lap in his first hot lap. Then Oscar Stepper with a 41.2. He heads up row 3. He's got Langston for company, who just set 41.4 on his third hot lap. And it has just occurred to me, and I didn't realise this because obviously I haven't raced on GT7 yet with the new qualification settings, but it doesn't actually burn your tyres or your fuel during qualification, which is a bit rubbish. Because, ideally what you want to do is you want to rubber in your tyres and you want to burn off some fuel. You make your car lighter, but you can't do that in qualifying, so everyone's stuck with full fuel, full tyres, and they can just go for it. So I suppose one good thing, you don't have to kind of bits and change, you can just go for it. Langston doesn't improve. That was a 49.0, not a great lap there. But heading up row 4, we've got McRider. That's a 141.4, and just 2 hundredths of a second behind with a 41.5 is Francesco, and I'm assuming he was born in 1991. I could be wrong, of course. Kamalek, 141.5. That's his fastest lap so far, but only good enough to head up row 5 ahead of Tini from Italia with a 41.5. Also, literally 9 thousandths of a second difference between those two. Dijon from Francia, 142.0, and Nirian. So just him and Nirian are the only two that haven't gone sub 42. Now, I suggested that a low 42 was going to be the qualifying time here. How wrong was I? These guys are much faster than that, and I can only apologise for completely underestimating your racing abilities. But looking good so far. looking very good for Timmy. He went quick in his first hot lap. Not so great second time out, but then came out with a 1:40.2, and that is 2.5 tenths quicker than anybody else on the racetrack right now. And he goes across the line into 40.4. That time doesn't improve on his time. Evans done a 40.5, is closing that gap a little bit. His last lap was a 40.5. It was a very, very solid lap for him. But Exocet back onto the front row with a 40.4. That difference for Timmy cut to just 1.5 tenths of a second. So how about that then? That's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good from Exocet. So gets himself back onto the front row. Evan relegated to row 2 alongside Dachu, 40.7 for him. Oscar Stepper and McRider on row 3. That's pushed Langston down to row 4 with Francesco. Row 5 is still Camilek and Tino. And then row 6 is Dijon and Nillian battling it out in the 42s. Just trying to hold on with the really fast guys out in front. This Super BRZ is such a fun car to drive, and it's quite an easy car to drive as well. It seems to take quite a lot of punishment and not give out on you. And I think I might prefer it now to the 911 in the D3s. I was a big fan of the 911, but I think this is my new favourite GR3 car. It's BRZ. But we'll, I'm sure we'll have an update soon, and then it will nerf one car and improve a different one, and, as usually happens. So we've got 3 minutes left of quality. There's pretty much time for one lap-ish, 1 and a bit laps. If you're on a hot lap now, you might get 2. So Timmy's still the fastest man on the racetrack. Wasn't so fast last time out. That was a 44.3. Just managed to squeeze it now. His 8th lap, which is phenomenal. I was thinking people would be doing 6s and 7s, but no. Chucking out loads and loads of laps. So that will do his ELO the world of good with that 40.2. And apologise for the state of the lag, of course. Exocet on that front row. Wasn't able to improve. Oscar Stepper has just improved his time. That's a 41.2 from him. A good improvement in his time there. Who else made an improvement? Just Oscar. Well, he's not going to make an improvement this lap because his car Oscar Steppered out on him. I'm sorry about that. That was awful, wasn't it? It is coming up to Christmas time. Well, it's coming up in December, so it's okay for bad dad cracker jokes. So back in the pack, we've got Nirian. Hasn't been able to get below 142, 142.6. His best lap on his third on lap 4 for him, obviously. You think there's a 39 coming? Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised actually with the pace. You can see he's put. Oh, that was close. That was really close. David nearly called it there, buddy. So yes, so 40.1 he puts in. So he needs to find a tenth and a bit, and he's got 1 lap to do it in. If he finds a tenth and a bit here, then we have our first sub 140 lap here at AUTOPOLIS International Racing Circuit. This is Group D, round 6 of GT Fusion World Championship. It's the first one where we've actually had proper qualifying because we've only just been given it by PD, just in time for the World Championships, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of you caught up on any of the World Championships so far. I did catch up with the Toyota Gazoo one on Thursday, and a bit of the race yesterday. Not huge amounts of it though, because obviously the football was on. There was a little football match on yesterday, if anyone was aware. To be fair, there's been 4 little football matches on every single day of the week. If anyone cares about that, of course. So there is Timmy. We're egging him along, hoping he gives us a sub 140. A 139.999 is your target, Timmy. Have you got it in the bag as you lag around the track like a dial-up connection? Is all that separates you from from us on the internet, of course. Now here he goes, round the last couple of corners. He's on the power. That's not a sub 140. Doesn't happen. But qualifying is done and dusted. Final lap of qualifying for everybody. Exocet is joining Timmy on the front row. It will be Evan and Dachu on row 2, unless they can improve on this particular lap. Oscar Stepper and McRider on row 3. Langster with Francesco on row 4. Kamilek and Tinny on row 5. Row 6 will be Dijon and Nilian, bringing up the rear of the pack for Max Torque Energy, of course. So he has finished. Exocet has finished. They're not going to improve their times. Evan, what's he got? Is he going to improve his time here? He crosses the line, doesn't improve. So we'll start on row 2. Dachu, is Dachu able to add some extra oomph to his qualifying? Oscar Stepper does improve with a 141.0. So puts himself on firmly into 5th place on row 3. Dachu coming round now. Langster sets a new 141.2, moves him up to 6th place. Dachu does not improve. So Langster up onto row 3 alongside Oscar Stepper. A couple of improvements there in that last lap. So that was your qualifying. And now it's time for the racing. And I wonder if we can get any information. So it is 11 laps around here, of course. Race start in 2 minutes' time. It will be a grid start. You are required to use the Racing Hard and Racing Medium compound tyres on this BRZ. For me, if you're starting out front, I think you're better off starting on the mediums and hope the guys around you are using the hards, because it's about a second half, 2 seconds a lap quicker on the mediums. And, yeah, you know, you depending on the pace, it depends on how much you can get out of those medium tyres. I can't imagine much more than 6 laps. I think lap 5 is really the kind of window for those tyres. Maybe lap 4, and we'll have to find out whether an undercut or overcut is strong here. And if essentially we're looking at the medium tyre runners, and if you do start on the mediums, you've got to capitalise and you've got to get out in front and pull a gap on the hard tyre runners, because you're going to have them coming back at you after they have pitted and they're on the quicker tyres. And as I said, it is about second half, 2 seconds a lap difference between the hards and the medium compound tyres. So you're going to be needing somewhere around a 10 to 15 second gap over any hard tyre runner if you're on the mediums, to guarantee they can't catch you once everybody has pitted. So 1 minute till the start time, as announced by Langster, of course. So, you know, it was good to see. We've got a lot of A+ drivers in there. But it's good to see like a C-rated, because I'm a C-rated driver. So a C-rated driver in there in the form of McRider. To be fair, David, I haven't seen, I wouldn't say that there's been any bad races here, like not clean. I think at this level, these guys know what they're doing, and they're generally quite clean races at this level. I mean, I've done some groups where it's been a little bit of carnage. I did a Group H way back when I first started doing Fusion, and it was an absolute, an absolute like a UFC match, to be fair. So here we go. 5 lights. I want to move further back down the order, don't I? And we are away. And is everyone away well? Of course they are. The one thing they haven't fixed, though, is that bloody camera angle. There we go. That's what I wanted. You would have thought they would have fixed that by now. So Timmy away well in the lead in terms of tyre compounds. It looks to me that Timmy's gone for the hard compound tyres. Now, that means Evan behind him needs to make a pass, and make a pass early for those medium tyres to work. How you doing, Fire? I am very good at my brother from another mother. Of course, we are brothers. We are both from the urban family. In our family, we share first names, and it's our surname. It's our surnames are different. There we go. Yes, good to see you, man. So, Timmy in the lead. We've got Evan in second. We did see someone hitting a wall. We'll go back and find out who that was in a minute, because they'll be way at the back of the pack. So, Evan's got to get past him on those mediums to make those tyres work for him. Same with Exocet. They need to make that pass. Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble when they have to come in early. Timmy gets the road to himself, and then when he does come in, we'll be on the faster compound tyres. Dachu is on the hard tyres, running in 4th place. Langster started 5th, is 5th. Or did he start 6th? I think he started 6th, and he is now 5th. He's gone for the medium tyres. He's another one that needs to move up through the order. It's very difficult to overtake here. You're kind of relying on errors to make a place or two here, or just big brass balls and some bravery. But it is not the easiest racetrack to overtake on. Francesco, loving the colours of that car there, running in 6th place here on lap 1 of 11. He's also on those medium compound tyres. McRider on the medium compounds, as is Kamelek. No, he's not. He's on the hard compound tyres. And then Oscar Stepper on the medium compounds as well. Tinny. He's on the hard compound tyres. He's got some damage on the front of that car. He will be the one that we saw flying off into the wall then. But he's ahead of Dijon. Well, Dijon has damage on the rear, and Tinny has damage on the front. Read into that what you will. Nobody else has got any damage that I can see. So just those two it is then. But Timmy under significant pressure from Exocet behind him. Exocet needs to get past him, and get past him soon, because he's only going to have about 5 laps, maybe 6 laps on those medium tyres. So he needs to get the most out of those tyres right now, before his pit stop, because he's going to come out on the hard tyres, and he's not going to be able to match the pace of Timmy, who'll be on the medium compounds. And as I said, it's about a second half, 2 seconds, maybe more difference between those two tyre compounds. No change at the back. Dijon is 1.2 seconds behind Tinny. Those two have already had a little accident. 4.6 seconds up the road is Kamelek. And who's that in the wall there? There is Kamelek. He's no longer that 4 seconds up the road. He is 4.5 seconds back, because Kamelek decided to go via the grass, and that's not the correct way around this racetrack. And the back end of that car of Dijon sliding around like a shopping cart on a wet car park. Tinny is up to 9th place now after that little spin from Kamelek. Oscar Stepper 6.4 seconds up the road and bearing down on the back of Evan. So Exocet has made his way around Timmy. Evan's lost a few places, dropped down to 7th place. Remember, he's on those medium tyres, so that's going to hurt him. And it looked to me like he was about to slide off the racetrack there, but didn't happen. Dachu running in 6th place. He's on the hard tyres, so playing the long game here. Behind McRider, who's on the medium tyres. 2.1 seconds now, just started to drop off the back of Francesco. And Francesco is crawling all over Langster. They're both running the medium compound tyres in the top 4 at the moment. But he can't find a way past Langster, but he is trying. He's all over the back of that wing, trying to find a way through, waiting for Langster to make a mistake. But Langster doesn't do that kind of thing. Langster gets the job done, doesn't he? We'll find out. So 1.7 seconds ahead of Langster is the pole sitter, Timmy. He's on the hard compound tyres. He won't be too bothered by the fact that Exocet, the Frenchman, is going off out in front. He will. He might not know, but he'll know now by the pace that he's running the medium compound tyres. So he won't be too concerned when he sees him pull into the pits. And as I said 5 laps. He's doing all right with looking after those tyres. He might be able to take them 6, maybe 7 laps, possibly. I don't know. I couldn't get more than 5 laps out of them before they felt undrivable. That's because I'm rubbish. I think my fastest lap round it was like 48 or something ridiculous. Yeah, that's me, Mr. Slow. 1.2 seconds is the lead Exocet currently has over Timmy. He is going to want to extend that to about 10 seconds if he wants to ensure that he stays ahead after the pit windows, because of the difference in speed between the medium and the hard compound tyre. He's currently got the fastest lap with a 1:42.311. Timmy in the 43.1. So actually, it's not even a second slower for Timmy, but I think this is because Timmy is super quick. Langster up into third, of course. Started 6th on the grid. He's just opened up a little gap to Francesco, who's no longer crawling all over him. I'll say that. And then here comes Francesco making a move. So he makes a move up the side of Langster. Side by side they are, but Langster manages to stay ahead. All over him. As I say, he pulled a cap on him, but it was very short-lived because Francesco made that little dive and just managed to hold off, did Langster. And his tyres looking dodgy. Is he going to come in here at lap 4 or hang it out to lap 4? So actually, Exocet doing a very good job of looking after this time, but it is, look, I mean, you can see the drop-off on these. So the first 3-4 laps isn't too bad, but then the drop-off, once it gets past halfway, is really bad. So it is spot on. I called it lap 5. Those guys are going to pit. And then obviously these hard compound tyres, you can, once you get, but you essentially just need to get them past lap 6. And then you can put on the softer compound medium tyre. But you might want to run it a little bit longer, who knows? And then you can really push those medium tyres. So Langster still holding on in the top 3, but Francesco is crawling all over him. He wants a piece of Langster. 3.3 seconds back to McRider. Got a lot of Italians in the group today. Bellissimo, is that an Italian word? I don't even know. I don't speak a word of Italian, to be fair. Tyres looking ropey for McRider. He better hope they can take him home. Because he's got Daci for company on those hard tyres, and obviously Daci will continue on through when McRider pulls off into the pits. Oscar Stepper, he is running in 7th place, just half a second back on this battle here, and this is a battle for 5th between McRider, Daci and Oscar Stepper. 10.1 seconds ahead of Tinny. Tinny's made up another place into 8th. Some damage on the front of that car, though, running those hard tyres, so maybe you'll see him come further up the order once he switches onto the mediums, and obviously everyone else in front of him is going to go in, of course. Dijon of Francia, he is running in 9th place. He's 3.1 seconds behind Tinny. And there we go, Exocet into the pits, and Timmy goes through into the lead. Langster also goes into the pits. I think we'll see a few of them going in now. Kamalek running in 10th place, 1.5 seconds back from Dijon. And Evan having an absolute, well, I say he's having an absolute mare, but he's been in the pits, which is why he's back there. So it's not as bad as all that. But he's 9.5 seconds back. But he has already pit, so he would have pit at the end of lap 4. So he's the Prima driver, of course. And we know that there's quite a few Prima drivers competing in the proper World Championship, the actual GT Manufacturers and Nations League. And yeah, we'll see how he gets on. But he's making the move on Francesco now. He's up to 9th place, of course, because Oscar Stepper and McRider were in the pits. So he's making a move on Francesco. He gets ahead of Francesco. He's got that move done. His next target is there. His next target is Langster. Langster's just come out of the pits ahead of him. He is up to speed. Langster not quite yet. Can he make a move on him, or is he going to be stuck behind here? So it really, in real terms, it's difficult to tell until Timmy and Daciu and Tinny and Dijon and Camille, until they go in and pit for the medium compound tyres, it's going to be difficult to know. And that is a 3-second pit lane penalty for McRider thank you very much for that update. I did actually mean to ask somebody to update me on the score. Thank you for that. It's lucky that I wasn't recording it to watch later, wasn't it? Because I'd be pretty darn pissed right now. No, I'm not bothered. Thank you very much for informing me of that. So there is McRider. He is currently running in last place. That 3-second penalty has cost him dearly. Very, very dearly. So Timmy into the pits. Dachu into the pits. Tinny into the pits. Dijon, he goes in as well. So they're going to run, as we thought, the 5 laps. So that so here comes Timmy out of the pits, but Exocet has jumped in. So Exocet managed to stay in the lead of this race, but the thing is now Timmy's on those medium compound tyres and will start to hunt him down like an Exocet missile, of course. So it is Exocet from Timmy, from Evan. Evan comes out in third. Well, ends up in third, should I say. He was plumb last, of course, at one stage for Prima Racing. But he's made his way up through the order now. He is now running in third. Francesco comes out in fourth. That battle for Francesco and Langster has been firmly won by Francesco. He is up into fourth place, just outside the top 3. And still within touching distance of Evan in front of him. Fifth place is Dachu, bless you, of course. It's 1.4. I don't know what that says, buddy. Wish I could read it, man, but shouldn't you be racing, Nirian? So Dachu is 5.2 seconds back from Francesco. He is 1.8 seconds clear of Langster of Amigos Racing Team. He himself is 2 seconds ahead of McRider, and McRider is 1.3. Really abusing the track limits there, going on the grass a little bit. 1 second, shall I say, ahead of Max Torque Energies Oscar Stepper. And then we've got, of course, Tinny, 8.5 seconds back. Everyone's been in the pits now, of course. Camille is 2 seconds further back there, and Dijon in 11th. And of course, I don't know what happened to Nirian. We lost Nirian. I'm assuming you got disconnected or something along those lines, buddy. I did wonder how you were typing in here in the chat here and racing at the same time. If someone wants to translate that for me, that would be awesome. Manipulatory Odmowili Pozlosens. What? How did I do, guys? How did I do? Bloody awful, I'm sure. I'm not very good with accents. So there's your leader, Timmy's got himself ahead of Exocet. We thought he might. He's on those medium compound tyres. We knew that Exocet would have needed about 10 seconds over Timmy to really give himself a cushion of safety with the difference in pace, of course. And the fastest lap is still with Exocet, 1:42.3. Timmy hasn't actually done better than a 43.1, but this is his first. Oh, his pedals are broken. Oh, that sucks, man. That is awful. I feel for you, man. It's horrible when that happens. Funny enough, it was a race around Autopolis. No, it wasn't. It was at Watkins Glen when I had a rig failure, and it's so frustrating because there's nothing you can do about it. Feel for you, man. I feel for you. So 1.5 seconds. Timmy is ahead of Exocet. Really starting to pull away now. And Timmy's fastest lap, there we go. We knew it as soon as he's going on those soft compound tyres. He's dominating today. That's a 1:42.0. Exocet with a 1:42.3, just 1.5 seconds behind him. And then there's quite a big gap back, actually. Everyone else seems to be sort of gapping out now. 5 seconds back to Evan there of Prima. He is 7.7 seconds ahead of Dashu. So it looks like that top 3 is pretty much decided. Langster running in 5th. He started in 6th. He's made 1 place improvement. He's 2.9 seconds behind Dachu. He's on the hard compound tyres. Dachu ahead of him on the medium tyres. So it's going to be very, very difficult to, I say difficult to close that gap. But the gap is at 1 second. So who knows if you can close him down. McRider 2.8, 2.9 seconds back also running the hard compound tyres now. Oscar Stepper, 3.5. It's a bit of no man's land. 3.5 in front, 3.5 behind. He's got nobody to race. Romery. But you know, it does give you it does afford you the opportunity just to kind of get into your rhythm and not have to worry about defending or attacking at this stage. Tinny is 3.1 seconds back. He's 2.6 seconds clear of Kamalek. And there is Kamalek, who's got a Dijon for company. And it's he's named after my favourite kind of mustard. And so Kamalek is fastest lap of the race. Was his last lap was 1:43.2. He's on the medium compound tyres, of course. And Dijon behind him, also on the medium compound tyres, did a 42.7. So he is trying to reel him in. And I don't know what happened to Francesco. It can't be good because he's had a crash. That's what's happened. He's screwed up two of those wheels on that left-hand side. And he is plumb last, 23 seconds back. And that's a long, long way down the order. So, and that lap was a 219.8. So he's on the hard compound tyres. He's 23 seconds back. He's got damage. And it looked like to me like he was about to get some more. But he's running plumb last. So he will want this race to be over soon. Back of that car sliding around like crazy. And a 1:41.5 from Timmy. That's qualifying pace in the race. He's opened that gap right out. 5.4 seconds. Very, very dominant racing from Timmy. And there is Exocet. And he's trying to be like an Exocet missile. He's on the hard compound tyres. He has he maintains a 5-second gap to Evan in third. But he cannot match the pace of Timmy out in front who's on the medium compound tyres. Evan, of course, also on those hards. So we've got a Dutchman, two Frenchmen in the top three. Polish Daciu, he's in fourth place, 6.8 seconds off that top three. And Langster starting to close down on him. Daciu's on the medium tyres, Langster on the hards. We're about to start the final lap of the race. Langster, of course, from the United Kingdom. 3.5 seconds back to the two Italians, McRider, and 6.6 back to Tinny. Then we've got the Croatian Oscar Stepper, who is under significant pressure from Kamalek on the medium tyres and Dijon on some medium tyres. So this race isn't over for those three. This battle for 8th place at the moment is going to go to the wire. And was that McRider into the pits? He ran out of fuel. Devastating. Absolutely devastating for him. So that's going to put him plumb. Oh, he doesn't actually get out ahead of Francesco. Just Francesco with significant damage, and it's not going well for him. So here's this battle: Oscar Stepper, Dijon, and Kamalek. Can any of them make a final kind of move here? And we're going to have to go to Timmy. There he is. He rounds the last couple of corners. He's 8.5 seconds clear now in this race. He's actually just coming up behind, unless we get a flag. I'm assuming that is because Francesco is having a few wobbles up ahead. So there is Timmy. He comes round the last left-hander, then this right-hander here. 8.9 seconds clear. Never in doubt from the moment he took pole position. He's looked the quickest all day. And he crosses the line to take the win here for Timmy. Well done. Good one there for him. Exocet comes home in second place. And Evan will round out the top three. Across the line, there he comes. He pitted very early, Evan, and that worked out very well for him. Daciu still under pressure from Langster as they go across the line in fourth and fifth place. That was very close. And then Tinny, he's about 9 seconds back, but he's got 2.4 back to Oscar Stepper. But there is Tinny across the line. Oscar Stepper opens up the gap again from Dijon in seventh. Dijon under pressure from McRider. McRider had to go into the pits and get himself a little splash and a dash, but Dijon crosses the line. McRider follows him in ninth. Kamalek Well, don't know what happened to him, but he's had an accident. He's 12 seconds back. He will cross the line in 10th place, and eventually Francesco will come home. He is several days behind everybody else. He's on the grass. He's got no tyres left. He's got damage. He's got no fuel. Bad day at the office for Francesco of Italia. Fastest man today was Timmy, 1:41.5. So the trifecta. He got the pole position, he got the fastest lap, and he got the big W. And Francesco has parked up on the gravel and given up on this race with just a couple of corners to go. Come on, man, you've only got a couple of corners left. But he quit. He couldn't do it. So there you go. Race number 1 is done. Congratulations to the top 3, Timmy, Exocet, and Evan. And I like the fact he's put them in almost in the correct order. Almost. Not perfect, but almost. That was really, really good from everybody. Very well done. So Timmy was your winner, Exocet and Evan. Will we have more of the same in race number 2? 5-minute qualifying session before this one, and then yeah, that's a good idea. Let's save the replay. Save the replay. I do keep forgetting to do things like that. Yeah, what do we think? How good was Timmy today? Can anyone beat him? That's the question. Is there any beating Timmy today, or is he just on too much fire? So, new lobby being opened by Lancaster. I don't quite know why we're going to do that. That doesn't seem necessary. Yeah, it really doesn't seem necessary to do that. Why not just keep this lobby and change the settings, maybe? But, you know, it is what it is, what it is. So we will be right back with a new lobby and some new qualifying. These are some highlights from last week at Goodwood, or last month at Goodwood, actually. So enjoy. I'm going to go and quick smoke while I get lobby. And we are back in the room. How we doing, fellas? Did you miss me? So, waiting for some qualifying. It'll be 5 minutes of qualifying for race number 2, of course. And Exocet, Evan, Dachu, messing around on track at the moment. Don't know what they're doing. Playing, that's what they're doing. So, last time out, Timmy was the winner. We've only got 11. We've got 10 of the 11, or 10 of the 12, in fact. We lost. Unfortunately, we lost Nirian. He had a pedal braking problem, and I don't mean that his brake pedal had a problem. I mean his pedals had a problem. It might have been with his brake pedal. I don't know, but it's broken as in broken, not broken as in slowing down. Not braking as in slowing down, should I say? So Evan out on track, giving it some beans. We did see some others on track. We've got 10 in the room. So who is missing? So we've got Tinny's there from Italy. Oscar Stepper from I'm sure that's Croatia. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, of course, from Max Talk Energy. There's Dijon, named after my favourite kind of mustard. McRider from Italia. Kamelek from Poland. Timmy from the Netherlands. He's been the fastest man all day so far. Looking forward to seeing if he's still got that pace. Here comes Francesco. We lost him. He's back in the room. Dachu from Poland. Langstar from United Kingdom. God save the king. And Exocet. It is great. Thank you very much. I'm terrible with flags. Really am. Except from Francia, and as is Evan as well. So, there's the Prima Racing car of Evan. Just chucking some laps in. Waiting for qualifying to begin, which will happen very shortly. I hope. I hate this kind of dead thing in between races. It means I've got to try and think of things to talk about. There we go. So we are reset, ready for qualifying. I suppose we could talk about the football, couldn't we? I mean, it is the World Cup after all. But I appreciate that some people actually aren't really into football at all. It's hard not to be into football, to be fair. It's a massive, massive sport. So Langston wasted no time. Dijon, Timmy, Dashi, they're all out there. It's only 5 minutes. So really only 2 laps. Or 2 hot laps anyway, you're going to get in. We were talking 1 minute 40-ish. Do we see a 1:39 this time from Timmy? Has Timmy got that 1:39 in the tank for us? He was darn close in qualifying last time out. Was at 40.1 he did for us. He just needs to, if he can find a tenth and a bit and put in a sub 140 lap, that would be awesome. We do want to see some quick laps, of course. If you are just joining us, where have you been? What have you been doing that's more important than this? We are here with GT Fusion round 6, Group D. It is the final round of the GT Fusion World Championship. There are hundreds of drivers, many teams spread across across the United Kingdom then, and now across the entire world. There are people from all over the show. From Canada to the United Kingdom to Ireland to Croatia, Poland, France, Spain, Italy, Germany. I've even seen a South African or 2. It's been an awesome amount of people involved. And very well organised as well by the people who run it. But this is the final round here. We're at AUTOPOLIS International Racing Circuit in the Subaru BRZ GT300, which is a very cool car. And they're just on a hot lap now, so it's ridiculous to ask who's the quickest so far, because nobody is. Yes, so this is the second race. First race was won by this man here, KKR Timmy from the Netherlands. And I know quite a few Dutch drivers. I race with a few myself. Bandit, who's in the chat here somewhere, he's Dutch as well, I think. And I find that they're quite good racing drivers. Must be something in the air. Maybe it's all the bicycles in the Netherlands makes you want to drive cars really, really fast. Could be. Yes, so he was the fastest man out last time. He got pole position, he got the win, and he got the fastest lap in the race. And he was pretty much uncatchable. Finished the race on the the medium compound size. Now, is that the way forward then? So Exocet just coming back in the room, and Exocet was second last time out. Not a lot of time left for him to set a hot lap. Good evening, Paul at PM10 Racing. He jumps in, he says, just stop by to say good evening. Good evening to you, my friend. Are you well? Did enjoy your video the other day of the first laps around Road Atlanta. I've driven the sum total of 11 laps around there, and that is it. I don't like it, Paul. I don't like it. No, I'm joking. It's all right, actually. It's not a bad track. I like it more than I like Suzuka, put it that way. Yeah, so PM10 Racing just jumped in the room and say hello. If you want to check out some really, really cool challenges, does a little kart challenge, some really, really cool stuff on his YouTube page. You'll find the link at the bottom of our page. Under PM10 Racing, funny enough. Good evening, Arminis. How are you, my friend? Good to see you again. And looking forward to the second round of our little team versus team next week. Are you painting your kitchen? What colour? What colour are you painting it, mate? I bet it's yellow. Yellow or purple. They're very popular kitchen colours at the moment. So, fastest lap from Timmy is a 40.9. That puts him on pole. Evan, 141.2. Exit asked him the question, what does he do? I'm assuming you just tick in and race, right? Oh no, because he'll start from the back, won't he? He'll just start from the back when the race starts if he's ticked in then. White all over. Boring, man. Boring colour. Get something a little bit colour into your life. You should paint it the same colour as your car liveries and put big PM10 logos all over it. Your missus will love that. Evan puts himself on the front row with Timmy. He's done a 41.2. Very strange, actually, because we had Love a Grey Worktop. Exocet, what you should do is if you tick in, you won't be able to qualify, but tick in for the race, and then I think it'll start you from the back of the grid, mate. Unfortunately, and yeah, hi to you as well. Yeah, I think that's your only option is to just tick in ready, so then when qualifying finishes, it will just put you at the back. So that's the end of qualifying. So Timmy on pole, 140.8. Not quite as quick as the first qualifying session, although that was a 15-minute session. Front row is joined by Dachu. Good lap from him, 41.0. Evan knocks down row 2 with 41.2 for him. Langstar alongside him at 41.5. Oscar Stepper is with Francesco on row 3. McRider is with Dijon on row 4. Tinny is on row 5 alongside Kamalek. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll monitor you and I'll egg you along, mate. I'll egg you along from doing the first thingy. To be fair, though, I think you have to work hard to catch Timmy today. He's quick as, well, I was going to say something really rude then. He's quick as shit. He's quick. He's just super, super quick. Kamalek is on the row 5. We've lost nearly his rig has given out on him. Exocet will be back with us. He will be at the back of the grid when the race starts because he didn't get a chance to qualify because he got disconnected. So, assuming he's ticked in, of course. Tick in, buddy. Tick in now. If you do not tick in, you do not race. So qualifying has finished. Just waiting for the host to start it. Hopefully Exocet remembers to tick the button. Clock it ticking, dude. Ticky, ticky, ticky. He can't enter. That's a problem. Sorry about that. I assumed you could just tick in after qualifying, but unlike GT Sport, you can do that in GT Sport, but I honestly don't know what the suggestion is. I don't think they're going to restart it. I don't know. Is the honest answer. Sorry about that, Exeter. I just assumed that okay. Unfortunately, sorry, mate. I gave you the wrong advice, but the host has spoken. So just hang around. You'll be here for race number 3. We don't make the rules. It is a bit of a shame, actually. I don't know why they didn't introduce that. You could tick. You used to be able to do it on GT Sport, of course. You could tick in after qualifying had started and then just tack on to the race. Yeah, sorry about that, man. That is a bit of a shame. But yeah, hang around for race number 3, mate. It'll be a shame not to have you racing. In all honesty, I don't ever remember seeing a restart when someone got DC'd for the race. But then we haven't had proper qualifying until this point, and you have been able to tick in at any point during the practice. So it's a slightly different setup now. But I don't recall a restart happening personally. But obviously I haven't done every group. I've been doing Group D now for, I think it's my 4th Group D race, I think, or third Group D race. Wish there was something I could do, but I can't. I mean, personally, I'd restart it, but it is what it is. I don't make the rules. I just drive really slowly and then insult people that can drive fast, because that's how I roll. So just waiting for the race start. Qualifying has finished, of course. Timmy on pole yet again. But Langster's going to set manual grid. And that's all set out. Oh, that's all right. Langster's going to sort. He's going to do the manual grid. Nice one, Langster. Doing what is necessary to get everybody racing. That's what I like. Should I tick? I was going to say, should I tick in a race? It would. One. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to tell you what was going on. But 2, I would be so crazy slow. I'd be getting lapped quite early on in this race. I guarantee I'll be getting lapped before I pit, because I think my fastest lap is 7 seconds slower than anybody else out there. So Langster is going to manually set the grid, so X-Set can race, and he's going to go from last to first for your entertainment viewing pleasure. Or so he says. I don't think it's going to be quite as easy as that. Yeah, let's get on with it then, shall we? Timmy will be on pole, of course. Where is he? Where is Timmy? You are very correct, Urban Fire. You are, Amigos is a very fair racing team. You're all knobheads, but no, I'm joking. I'm only joking, of course. I don't think you're knobheads. You're all very, very nice fellas. Yeah, we're not quite so nice, because it happened to me the other day, actually. We were doing our GR3, and I wasn't ticked in, and the race started without me. And so I for a strop, I disconnected from the server and went and played F1 for a couple of hours with the hump. Because as you know, I don't race very often, and I actually stood a fair chance of not being last in that race. So yeah, I had the right hump when the race started, when I wasn't ticked in. But it happens. It happens, and obviously it was before the update, so we. We'd already done like half hour or 15 minutes or whatever it was of qualifying, and it wouldn't be fair on them to make you do it all again, of course. So room is being prepared. Everyone will tick in. It is a manually set grid. Well, you know, if you're happy, if the shoe fits, my friend, if the shoe fits, then feel free to wear it. So Legs is going to tick in. It's a manually set grid. Can I see the grid? There's the settings for anyone who's interested. 12 times tyre wear, 8 times fuel consumption. Do need to be a little bit clever with looking after your fuel, or just make sure you fuel well in the stop. Hard and medium is obviously a requirement. For a missing pilot, I'm doing all right, Zeno. How are you? Thanks for joining me. We're just waiting for Dachu to get back. Dachu crashed. He is back now. Manual grid will be set, so Exocet can race. He got disconnected for qualifying, of course, as you well know. But everyone's ticked in now, apart from the late start, and then we will start and we will get going for race number 2. I'm going to put it out there. I know the Fusion rules state that you should do a new lobby for every race. Personally, I don't kind of see what the benefit of that is unless the lobby is really bad. I think if the lobby you're in is working, you can just change the settings and go again with that lobby. That would be my preference. I think knowing that we have 1 or 2 issues at times with lobbies, it's probably the best bet. So there we go. Is Dachu now in? He looks like he is. Room is being prepared. So room is ready to go. Everyone is ticking in. It's going to be a manually set grid. Just, you know, because we want to get everyone racing. Everyone entering. I could freak them all out and tick the button. I'm not going to though. Right, that's everyone in. It's all 11 in. We of course lost Nirian because his rig broke, so he is not coming back. He's not coming back at all, unfortunately. So we are ready to go. Do we just go bang, start race now? I think we do. We do. We often have these little instances between races with GT Fusion, and I'm sure the Fusion guys will look at these little issues that have been between lobbies and come up with an alternative solution. You've got to bear in mind that when they came up with the plan for this season, this game was a little bit dodge, and it has improved over the months, and to get us to where we are now. So we've had significant improvements to the lobbies. They've now, of course, added qualifying, which is I'm very pleased about. And yeah, so we're just waiting now for the race to start, and we will get cracking with race number 2. As long as we don't have the longest stream I've had was when we did. Where were we? It wasn't Goodwood. It was I think it was around 4, and there was significant problems with the lobby. I mean, it was awful, really bad. And I think the stream took somewhere like 4.5 hours to do, and a lot of people did stick with me and stayed with me for it, so I'm quite pleased about that. But yeah, it was a right pain in the arse, that one. Ran very late. Okay, we're starting. We are starting. Congratulations, we're finally underway. Race number 2, of course, is underway. And if you are watching and you are not subscribed, why exactly? Click that subscribe button and you will get notified every time Black Flag Racing goes live. Remember, we don't just do GT7, we also now do Formula 1 2022. Yeah, maybe they should have done actually, but and, I can see why they moved it across, because a number of people kind of ditched sport and moved over here, and I think I don't see the problem with moving to GT7. I just think they could have adapted. They could have adapted the format with the changes to lobbies, etc. I mean, they changed the qualifying procedure within a couple of days of qualifying being added to it. So, yeah, I look, we know how hard it is to organise races and stuff. We do it on a regular basis at Fire. So sometimes it's easy just to leave it as it is, and rather than keep changing things. Right. So, are we underway? Yes, we are. I was waiting for it to count down, but it never did. So there we go. Sorry guys, we're not going back in the room. So Timmy away well. I should have come in a bit earlier. Timmy is away well, half a second up from Evan. There is Evan staring down the back of his car. Langster in third place. He's made a little jump already. Dachu in fourth place. Dachu did qualify second, so he's already lost a couple of places. Hards, mediums, hards. Hards are hards for Timmy again. Evan this time opting for the hards. He's running in second place. He's done a strategy change. You saw how well that worked for Timmy last time out. Good choice for him. There is Langster running in third place for the Amigos Racing team. He's made up a place since qualifying. He's ahead of Dachu, who qualified in second. Dachu's running those hard tyres as well. So Langster, as I've said, if you're on the softer compound tyres, to make it work, you've got to get up the order. You've got to get as far ahead as you can if you want to capitalise on having those softer tyres. Oscar Stepper, he is running in fifth place. He is also on those racing medium tyres, as we just see the back of Dachu wiggling, but he does keep it on the road. McRider just under half a second back from Oscar Stepper as we come to complete lap number 1 of 11 here. Francesco, he is 6/10 back. He's also on the hard compound tyres. A lot of people this time have opted for the hard compound tyres, which I think, well, I still think that the mediums is the way to go. But if you can essentially make a bit of a gap. So if you're out in the lead, then, or also one of the top 3, then I think you can make mediums work if you can get up the order. And we sort of see there, Langster already up to second place on those mediums. So he's making them work for him. He's made up a couple of places already. Tino, or Tini, 1 second back. He is racing for Shark Racing Team. He's on hard compound tyres. Exocet, who is trying to go from last to first. He's already made it up to 9th place. He was at the very, very back, so already making some moves. And he's on the hard compound tyres as well, so he has opted for a change of strategy. Dijon has also opted for change of strategy and gone to start on hards, as has Kamalek, who is running in last place, 1.6 seconds back. But nobody is broken on lap 2. Last time out, we had a couple of people that already had some issues. So Langster is keeping pace with Timmy. He's opened up the gap from Evan from just over a second, which will keep him out of the slipstream. Not that there's huge opportunity for slipstream on this track. You've got a little bit down the main straight here, but it's, there's no super long straights here really. It's quite a technical circuit, so you will get a little bit down here. And Langster getting some from Timmy. Is he able to make a move? Now he's on those medium compound tyres. They have a life of just 5 laps. No more. I've seen someone take them 6 laps in practice, but you have to be. You're pushing at the maximum effort, as Deadpool would say, when you're racing. So you're taking a bit more out of the tyres. But Langster is half a second back from Timmy, not able to make a move at this stage. But again, if Timmy knows that Langster's on, there's no way that he could possibly, I suppose if he's listening, he'll know because I've just told him. But I'm sure he'll see the pace and think, well, these guys must be on mediums. He won't be too bothered if someone on the medium tyres gets ahead of him, as Exocet did in race number 1. And we did say we'd monitor Exocet. Dijon is facing the wrong way. You can't park that there, mate. Sorry, and he's away again. He is away again. He's now 10 seconds behind Kamalek. Exocet is he's on the hard tyres. He's closing down now on Tinny, trying to make some moves, trying to do this last to first thing. And I never understood that challenge because I can't. I'm just last to more last generally, so I don't do last to first. So Timmy is still in the lead from Langster, but Langster doing a good job of trying to open up a bit of a gap to those behind, particularly those hard tyre runners. As I said, we've got Evan for Prima, was in the top 3 last time out. He is obviously going to be a danger man there. Oscar Stepper's running well, he's in 4th. He's on the medium tyres as well though, so this is the penultimate lap for these medium tyre runners in Langster. Oscar Stepper, Muck Ryder, everybody else on the hard compound tyres. And Dijon now 12.3 seconds back. So Timmy leads the way for the Netherlands in this BRZ here at AUTOPOLIS. Race number 2, of course, of GT Fusion Lobby D, brought to you by Black Flag Racing TV. For all of your pornographic needs. I'm only joking. Only joking. 8 tenths ahead is Timmy. Langster's not been able to make those medium tyres give him a bit of a lead. He has got the fastest lap at the moment with a 1:42.5. But I imagine Timmy will have something to say about that when he puts on the medium compound tyres. Langster is 1.5 seconds clear of Evan of Prima. He is just 7 tenths ahead of Oscar Stepper for Max Torque Energy. Sounds like a drink, doesn't it? Why are you so wide awake, Urban Pirate? Because I've had a can of Max Torque Energy. 2.9 seconds back to Dachu. He is not under significant pressure, but he does have McGrider. Good evening, Zach Hamady. How are you this fine sunny evening? And I'm assuming the influx of people in the last sort of 10-20 minutes is because the football has finished. That's good. That's my assumption, and I'm sticking to it. So McRider is just a second behind. He's got his countryman and teammate Francesco just 3 tenths behind him, vying for position. Now, do they have team orders, or are they free to race each other, I wonder? There is the Shark Racing Team driver, Tinny. He's 1.5 seconds back from his countryman ahead. And he's 1.5 seconds ahead of Exocet. Exocet, of course, had to start from the back of the grid, having not been able to qualify because he disconnected. But he has made up a couple of places, up into 9th. He is on the hard compound tyres, but then so are most of the other drivers in front of him, bar McRider, Langster and Dachu. And so we'll see them coming in at the end of this lap. Langster now 1.1 seconds behind Timmy. Did make a good push. He was in he started in 4th place. Did make a good push. Earned himself a couple of places ahead of Oscar Stepper. Well, in fact, Dachu was in did qualify 2nd. So he's dropped out of that top 4 for now. But now look at the state. Now he's on the hard tyres. That's the kind of wear you would expect to see on the medium tyres. He's really taking it out of those tyres, and I think he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to take this at least another lap in that condition. So there we go, Langster into the pits. Oscar Stepper, he goes in, of course, he's on the medium tyres, and we'll see them drop down. Exocet will also come in. No, he won't. Exocet is... he's on the hard tyres, isn't he? Idiot. So, yes, McRider, that was the other one. So those 3 medium tyre runners all in. Dijon will find his way through on those hard tyres. They will put at the end of this lap and do 5 of the very finest hot laps on the medium tyres, everyone that's left out. So the 3 that went in the pits come out in 8th in 9th and in 11th place. Dijon only manages to get past McRider during the pit window. So, where is... I was going to say, where is Evan? Timmy is in the lead, 2.4 seconds clear. He'll pit at the end of this lap. The Frenchman Evan for Prima Racing will follow him into the pits and put on the medium tyres. Now the gap, I should really have worked out what the pit time was. It's relatively quick refill time on the fuel, of course. 29 seconds back, Langston is. So that's about, it's about 30 seconds or so, or just under in the pits. About 25 seconds, I think, the pit losses. So, 28 seconds is the gap there. We'll see. Actually, I think Langston will be there or thereabouts again. As will, of course, Oscar Stepper. So Timmy into the pits. We should time this really, and then we know for certain, don't we? So here he goes. Timmy into the pits. He pulls that BRZ in. They're working on the car, as you can see. Now, this is what we want to check, because everyone's in now. Where's Langster? There he is. I need my keyboard controls, man. Timmy's still in the pits. He leaves the pits now. Now we see where Langster is. Langster coming through. It's going to be close. But Timmy and Evan. Evan jumps Langster in the pit window. No, he doesn't. Langster just gets out ahead. But Evan is on those faster medium compound tyres. So Timmy maintains his lead. But it actually opens up a little bit. It was 1.1 seconds when Langster came in. It's now 1.5 seconds. And now Timmy's on the medium compound tyres. Langster is on those hards, running in second. And he's already under pressure from Evan, who's running the medium compound tyres. I think he's going to have some trouble. He's going to get swallowed up because Oscar Stepper's in there as well. Then we've got, 6 seconds? It's nearly 7 seconds back to Francesco. He is the lead Italian out there at the moment. 1.6 seconds clear of Daciu. And he's not a statue, Daciu. He's moving quickly. 3.5 seconds clear of McRider, who is also on those hard tyres. He was one of only 3 cars that started on the medium tyres, and these guys are now going to get swallowed up. Exocet has made up one more position. He's now on those medium tyres, and there's another one for him. So he has gone from 11th through 10th, 9th, 8th, and up to 7th. He's still got a lot of work to do. 3.9 seconds up the road is his next target. His next target is Daciu. There is Tiddy running in 9th place. He is 2 seconds clear of Kamalek, who is 21 seconds clear of everyone's favourite mustard, Dijon. So Timmy opens up the gap, 2 seconds is the lead. Evan has made his way around Langster already. And opened up a 1.4 second gap from him. So Langster now is going to have to hold off from the charge of Oscar Stepper. They're both on the same compound. They're both on the hard compound tyres. Lap times are, well, I said about 2 seconds a lap slower. And from his fastest lap to his fastest lap on the hard so far is exactly 2 seconds. So that's the 2 second loss. Pierre, how are you, my friend? Good to see you, buddy. Lots of people coming to see me this evening. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And as I said earlier, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Absolutely, you should do it. For no other reason than seeing numbers get bigger pleases me immensely. But also because you get to see, you get to find out whenever we're going live. And we're live pretty much every day, with different bits and pieces across different racing games. And more so in 2023, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up through next year. So, Oscar Stepper not closing that gap on Langster. It's still 1.1 seconds, give or take. Francesco is the next medium tyre runner. Now, he is lapping about the same on the mediums that those guys are doing on the hards. He's gonna need to up his pace to about a 1:42 if he wants any hope of making a challenge for that top 3. So Langster, it's working out quite well for him. The front two, Timmy and Evan, were in the top 3 last time out. and are in the top 3 again. This time, there's no Exocet in the top 3. He is closing on Dachu. He's dead stuff in the rear of the pack, of course. He's closing on Dachu. 3.4 seconds is that gap. But he's, I think, 15 seconds off from the lead. We're on lap 9 of 11. It's a big, big ask to get him up into that top 3. And he's got to pass some quick guys in order to do it as well. First, he's got to catch them, and then, of course, he's got to pass them. It's not easy to do here. There's your leader, Timmy. Has been the fastest man all day. Pole positions galore, fastest laps galore, and he's about to rack up win number 2 of 2. 2.5 seconds clear, of course. And that's assuming that he doesn't have a brain fart and spin his car off into a wall or get disconnected, of course. None of that. We obviously don't wish any of those things upon him, but that is pretty much the only thing that's going to stop him today. There is Evan running in second place. Evan, of course, of Prima Sports from Francia. And there we've got the Brit, Langstar from the Amigos Racing Team, running in third place. And at the moment, 1.3 seconds clear of Oscar Stepper from Max Torque Energy. He's not closing that gap, so I think he's going to have to resign himself to a finish outside the top 3. Francesco, he is in the best position to make a challenge in that top 3, but he needs to continue. I mean, that was a really good quick lap from him, a 1:42.0 there. He needs another couple of laps like that, and then that gap to Oscar Stepper is going to be a lot smaller. So Oscar Stepper's last lap was a 44.1. Francesco's last lap, 42.6. So he is closing. Here on lap 10, he's going to need to close that 2.8 seconds. He's basically got a lap to do it. A lap and well, almost 2 laps. To close 2.5 seconds there and make a pass, and then another 2 seconds to Langstar and make a pass. Langstar's last lap was on 1:43.8. That's a really solid time, actually, on those hard compound tyres. So I think top 3 is out of bounds for Francesco, but at the moment he's on the charge after Oscar Stepper. Let's run from the back of the pack. It's Dijon of France, who is 14 seconds back from McRider of Italy. He is 4.7 seconds behind Kamalek of Poland, who is 3.6 seconds behind Tini of Italy. He is 4.4 seconds behind Exocet, who, despite best efforts, is not going to go from last to first. Although he did claim he was going to, but it's not going to happen. But he still, if he ups his pace now, he might catch Dachu. Can't see it happening though. Dachu's 3.3 seconds up from Poland. 1.3 seconds behind this man here, Francesco of Italy, who is desperately closing that gap on Oscar Stepper. He's on the medium compound tyre. Oscar Stepper, of course, on the hard compound tyre. That is still for the taking as we come towards the end of the penultimate lap. Moving on to lap 11 here. This is the final lap of the race. 2 seconds the gap from Oscar Stepper to ART Langstar. I don't know why I just randomly just shouted out Art. Francesco, 1 second the gap now. Can he close that gap on Oscar Stepper? He's certainly giving it some beans, and he wants to, but Langstar had 7 seconds off those front 2. Just absolutely running away with it. So here is the charge of Francesco, and I really want charge of the light brigade in the background. That'd be awesome as he does this. Do you think if he played it in the background, it'd spur him on? So Oscar's he's basically got about 8 corners to keep him ahead, or keep ahead. But he's under pressure now. Remember, Oscar Stepper's on those hard compound tyres. As we see Francesco going side by side. He's got the inside line here. Can he make it stick? He does make it stick as they go in. But Oscar Stepper on those hard tyres just couldn't keep him at bay. And probably should have done a better job with trying to guard that inside line on that big switchback. So can Oscar Stepper come back at Francesco? Doesn't look like it. So we are watching with Timmy as Timmy comes into this final big right-hander, and then he'll flick to the left-hand side on the power to win race number 2. by 3.5 seconds over Evan of Prima. Then 8.4 seconds back to round out the top three. Amigos Racing Team's very own Langster the Gangster. Francisco does make 4th place. Oscar Stepper stays in 5th. Dachu in 6th. Exocet home in 7th place, which isn't bad from last. Tino, or Tini, I don't know why I'm calling Tino. Tini in 8th place. Kamilek in 9th. McRider, the last Italian, 7.9 seconds back. He comes home in 10th place. And yeah, no, it was good race from Langster there. Good race from him. And Dijon, Mr. Mustard himself, he comes home in 11th place. So, Timmy from Evan from Langster, they are your top 3. Congratulations, 2 wins from 2 for Timmy. It's 2 top 3 finishes for Evan. Unfortunately, not this time for Exocet. Evan improves from 3rd to 2nd. Exocet didn't qualify, started from the back, but did get himself a nice 7th place. So, full rundown here. Timmy from Evan from Langster, Francesco, Oscar Stepper, Dachu, Exocet, Tiddy, Kamilek, McRider, and Dijon in 11th place. We've lost, of course, Nirian, who had a rig issue and couldn't continue racing. So there we go, that's race number 1 done. Race number 2 done. We've got 2 more races for you, and there will be a short break in between. Give everyone a chance to go and have a little drink and a little wee and a little dance and a fag or whatever else they want to do in the little break in between. I'm going to go and have a smoke in a minute as well. But first, let's talk about what's coming up on Black Flag Racing TV this side of Xmas. And yes, I just called it Xmas. So basically, what we've got, well, Monday evenings is, of course, GR4 Lottery. Anyone that hasn't watched that yet, it's a very simple format. We put 15 GR4 cars on a wheel of spinny. We spun it, we allocated the cars, and that was the car they had to stick with until race 5, when we stuck some more on a wheel, and then you could ditch your car. We're at round 10 now, final round. The championship has already been decided. Kevin77 has already won it with a race to spare, but it is still all to race for the rest of the top 3. That will be here on Monday at 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock I think it is. And it is 3 races, 3 30-minute races. So, new lobby in 2 minutes, a 10-minute break. Oh, let me save that replay. Saving the replay, of course. Yeah, so that is unable to save. Oh, it's saved now. Yeah, so that is what's happening on Mondays. Tuesday we are live on F1 2022 with Late Night Racing League. We're already on round 4. What a league that is. Really solid racing going on in the NNR Late Night Racing League on F1 2022. Wednesdays is the Open GR3, which again is another Black Flag event, which we are back to doing now. Didn't do it this Wednesday. I was going to race it this Wednesday, but it went horribly wrong, as I talked about earlier. Then Thursdays we were smoking Pirellis on F1 2022. Had to cut this week short for a little family issue. I'm not going to go too much into it on the stream, but basically just suffice to say that someone's a feeling little bastard and tried to drop one of my children in it. But that's now sorted. Well, we think so anyway. Fridays, what's happening on Fridays? At the moment, nothing confirmed for Fridays. I have been doing some stuff with Eurotrips F1, but they've been having some problems with crossplay, so that's on hold at the moment, but I will find something to stream. And there's always something going on a Friday. Saturday we'll be back to Super Formula now that we are done with GT Fusion. Back to the Super Formula series that we've got running. That's a really popular series. 3 30-minute races with the best 2 results counting towards your final score. And then Sundays we will comment, not this week because of Fusion obviously, but from next Sunday It will be round 2 of Black Flag versus the Lithuanian Racing Club, and they absolutely annihilated us in race number 1. We're going to send across our settings for race number 2. We've got to claw back some dignity after a devastating race number 1. To be fair, they were very curveball with their choice, and very smart choice from them, and got massive points. So we've got a lot of work to do to catch up in that series. So that's essentially what goes on every week here on Black Flag Racing TV. There will be some other bits and pieces coming over Christmas. We're back to. Of course, I forgot about our Mind event. We're not doing Super Performing because we've got our little charity event which we're doing on Saturdays. We're raising money for the charity Mind, mental health charity. We did race number 1. It's 3 hours of endurance racing. We did race number 1 last week. You can catch the stream here. That was awesome. That was 24 hours at Le Mans, condensed into 3 juicy hours. Race number 2 will be 3 hours around Spa, although we might potentially do a 6 hour. We haven't decided yet. We'll work on that, but it'll be 3 hours around Spa in the Group 2 cars this time. So looking forward to that next Saturday, and you really should check that one out. And give me your money. Right, so I'm going to disappear. I'm going to have a fag while everyone's having a 10-minute break. Do join me back here in a few minutes for qualifying and race number 3. Talk amongst yourselves. Back shortly. And we are back. Qualified starting in 3 minutes. That's good timing from me, isn't it? Excellent timing. There we go. So, again, it's going to be 5 minutes of qualifying for race number 3. We're at the midway point. For those of you just joining us, we're at AUTOPOLIS International Racing Circuit in the Subaru BRZ GT300. This is round 6, the final round of the GTFUSION World Championships. We're here in the amateur Group D, the lead amateur group. So these are the guys vying to hit the pros for next season. And I tell you what, it's been some great racing so far. Particularly from Timmy. Timmy has been awesome. He's won 2 races. He was pole position and fastest lap in both of those as well. Evans showed some good pace. He's finished in the top 3 twice as 3rd place and a 2nd. We had a very good 2nd place from Exocet in race number 1. Race number 2 got disconnected during qualifying and had to be placed at the back of the grid for race number 2. Could only get up to 7th place. So instead, Langster decided he was getting in on some of that top 3 action for Amigos Racing Team and got himself into 3rd. We saw obviously two strategies because you're using 2 different compounds of tyres. Starting on the mediums and starting on the hards. We saw a lot start on the mediums in race number 1. Race number 2, the tide turned a little bit and only 3 people starting on the medium compound tyres. I wonder if race number 3 is going to see everybody switching to that tactic, or are some people going to go back to medium tyres to start. Obviously the medium tyre strategy worked very well for Langster because it gave him an opportunity to move up the order, really keep up with the race leader Timmy, and although he did get swallowed up by Evan in the after the pit stops, of course, with Evan being on faster tyres, it did allow him to stay in 3rd place and take that podium. So qualifying is about to begin. We shall jump in and view. That's what we shall do. So, any predictions from those out there in viewerland? Anyone going to catch Timmy today, or is this all about him? What do we think? There we go. Being reset now for quali. So 5 minutes of qualifying begins now. I hope Dijon is not planning on qualifying on those hard tyres because it's not going to be all that quick. So 5 minutes of qualifying is enough time for 2 quick laps and everyone vying to get out as quickly as humanly possible. But Dachu, where is he? There he is. So everybody out of the pits, going to give themselves a bit of room now on this outlap. Dijon picks up a 3-second penalty there. Crossing the pit line on the way out. Horrible penalty that is. It's so difficult, particularly if you're running in the top 3 and it's pretty close, and then you pick that up. It's just devastating. And if you think it's not that difficult to avoid it, even the very best, the people on the world circuit, we saw a few of them picking up that 3-second penalty during the World Finals, which you can catch on the GT7 YouTube page, presented by Jimmy Broadbent and some other dude, who I found very entertaining. But for one thing, they kept the boost button on the super formulas called the push to pass. I know technically that's what it's for, but I wouldn't call it push to pass. It's quite annoying. But it's strange things that annoy me. We are, as you know, it's down to 11 drivers. That's because we lost Nirian to a rig failure or a pedal failure problem, which is why we've only got 11 of the 12 runners out there this evening. So, for anyone that doesn't know what the format is, first race was 15 minutes of qualifying, followed by 11 laps here at AUTOPOLIS. Then there are 3 more races after that. This is race number 3 of those 4 races, with just a 5-minute qualifying session for that one. To set the grid for then just balls out racing. 2 compounds of tyres required, of course, medium and hard. You will need to fuel. It's 12 times tyre wear and 8 times fuel consumption. So there's a little bit of fuel management required in your second stints, particularly if you're running a little bit longer, just to make sure you make it to the end of the race. And we did see in race number 1 actually. I think this rider had to jump in and just give himself a little splash because he wasn't going to make it to the end of the race. So everybody is out. Langster will be the first to put a time down, so he will be in pole position. It may only be for a brief time, but he'll certainly be in pole position initially as he crosses the line. That's the dreaded penalty line. So whoever it was that picked up the 3-second penalty, I think it was Dijon. We'll obviously go through there, but Dijon not moving, and I wonder why that is. Going to cause a few problems being parked up where he is, to be honest. Why is he parked now? But of all places to park, there you could pick a much better place than that, surely. So there's Langster on pole very briefly, of course. He did a 1:42.2, but already drops down to 4th. X-Set got to qualify this time, 1:41.3. Very good time for him. Tino gives us a 1:41.8. And then Dachu says, you're not going on the front row. I am, with a 41.4. So the front row at the moment is X-Set and Dachu. Row 2 is Francesco and his countryman Tino on row 2, of course. 2 Italians, loving it. Frenchman Evan on row 3 with a 41.9. Oscar Stepper, 1:42.0, joins him on row 3. Row 4, Langster, 42.2. Going to need to put a battle up this time around. Kamilek, I don't know why I forgot to say his name. Kamilek with a 1:42.5. And he's joined on row 4 with Timmy. He did a 44.7. Now he's got to improve this time. Remember, Timmy has been on pole position for race number 1 and number 2. Is this when we see Timmy slip up? He's still obviously got one more lap to put in to set a time, of course. McRider with 48.8. And Dijon is not driving at the moment. He's just parked up at the side of the road. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's looking at flowers or something. He is clearly AFK. Or broken down. Maybe he's broken down. He's got a rig problem. That is a distinct possibility, of course. So X-Set currently your pole sitter, 1:41.3. Langster puts himself on pole. That's a 41.3 for him. X-Set straight away, 41.2. And here comes Timmy, and Timmy does a 41.1 to retake pole. That's 3 pole positions for him. So front row is Timmy and X-Set. Row 2, another good performance from Langster. On row 2, him and Evan. Dachu and Francesco are on row 3. Row 4 will be Tini and Kamilek. Row 5, that's row 4, of course. Row 5, Oscar Stepper and McRider. And then at the back will be Dijon, who is now back and driving. But clearly having some sort of problem. Is he struggling to change gear, maybe? What is occurring with his motor car? So there's your pole sitter, Timmy. This will be his 3rd pole in 3 races. Will he win again? Will we have a similar tactic? Will it be the majority of people running on the hard tyres for 6 laps and then switching out to the medium compound for the final 5? Or will we see more people this time go for medium tyre and try and push on? That'll be interesting to see. Congratulations to a couple of my guys from Black Flag in their group. We've had a 1st and 2nd in at least one of them. So great job from them dudes. Racing, of course, not for Black Flag, but for our partners, Hellenic Knights Racing Team, headed by our good friend Kevin, of course. Race starting in 2 minutes. Why 2 minutes? Why not straight away? I just want to try and make me find things to talk about. shall we talk briefly about the football? What happened today? I don't even know what I've got my phone, so I don't even know half the results from today, to be fair. I haven't watched that much football. I don't know why. I've watched more during the week when I've been working than I have today. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Shall we have a little looky-see? Yeah, why not? It's not like I'm going to watch the games later or anything. And I knew that result. So a good result for Poland today. Argentina win 2-0, so they finally do win a game. Always useful. That will mix the group a bit. And France actually not quite as devastated as you'd expect the world champions to be, aren't they? But they're doing all right. They're doing all right at the top of the group. 2 wins from 2. But yes, Saudi Arabia, only -1 goal difference. They could potentially see themselves going through. They've got to play Mexico next, haven't they? Who knows what can happen? Who knows? If Argentina beat Poland and Saudi Arabia beat Mexico, we could see Saudi Arabia in the next round. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? So, we had a lot of people here early on, but clearly I'm boring New Orleans. You've all disappeared off now and gone to do something much more important. It could be because it's getting late. I mean, it's 10 o'clock at night here in the UK. So across Europe it's going to be 11, maybe 12 o'clock. And it's not school night, but it is, you know, we're getting old now. We need our beauty sleep, don't we? And of course, I won't be up late anymore on a Saturday because I'm no longer doing GT Champions. That season finished a couple of weeks ago. Congratulations to Pascal, or otherwise known as Scarlet, who won that Group 4. That'll be back in February next year. So I'll be back, and you'll hear my dulcet tones at 1:30 in the morning for the GT Champions Season 7, I think it is. Something like that. Anyway. Right, so race starting 2 minutes, he says. I think that's 2 minutes up. Let's get cracking. And there we go. So we have started. I should have gone in the room earlier. So there we go. Timmy is in the lead, of course. Langster in second place. Exocet trying to make a move on Langster. Does he make the move stick? He's gone round the outside. And I said earlier that you can make a move round the outside there. But he does round the outside into second place. And Dachu benefits from that move as well. Gets himself up into third. So that's dropped Langster down into fourth place. Evan in fifth. He's got Tinny just behind him in sixth. Looking for a way through. Now, tyres. Timmy's sticking with his strategy of starting on hards. Exocet on the hards as well. And see Dachu going through into second place. He's on the medium compound tyres. So he plans on making that work for him. Similar to what we saw Langster do in race number 2. Making his way through the order. Langster this time has opted to start on the hard compound tyres. I think that's not a bad shout as he makes a challenge on Exocet. He's got the inside line there, but Exocet maintains the inside line on the next corner and stays ahead. This is very, very frenetic racing. Langster still trying to find a way past Exocet. And he obviously didn't really have a chance to do anything in race number 2. And he started from the back because of a disconnection. But he's showing his pace again now. Top 3. There we go. So there's Timmy in the lead yet again. It's getting boring now. Someone put a challenge on this dude. Dachu is 7/10 behind in second place. Then 1.6 seconds back to Exocet, who is just under half a second ahead of Langster, who's under significant pressure from behind. He's got, I'll say he's got Tinny, he hasn't. He's got Evan behind him at the moment. He's just made a move on Tinny. Evan on those hard tyres, Tinny on the medium tyres. He's really desperately trying to make a move here and let it work for him. And a little tap in the back there of Evan from Tinny sets Evan back a little bit. But Evan does make the move back on him again. And now we see Francesco trying to make a move on his compatriot, countryman. Can't make the move this time. Teammates, though, there they are battling it out. McRider and Francesco are having a nice little battle between themselves there in 7th and 8th. Then we've got a little gap back to Oscar Stepper. He was further up in race number 1. He's on those hard tyres, though, so we'll see him come good later on. Kamalek in 10th place, and Dijon has gone into the pits already, and I think this is a retirement. Rage quit for the win. So Timmy is out in front, 8/10 clear of Dachu. Dachu on those racing medium tyres. And he gave that away by writing it in his name, Racing Medium. Racing Medium Dachu, we're going to call him. He's 1.9 seconds clear of Exocet just inside that top three. So we've got 2 on hard tyres in the top 3, Dachu on the medium tyres in the pit on lap 5, as we know. Langstar has changed his strategy. He's opted now for the hard tyres to be a little bit racier towards the end. And if he can maintain 4th place here, Dachu could be in trouble, but it's going to be an interesting race. Tinny has got himself ahead of Evan. He's up into 5th place. Evan down into 6th. Tinny on those medium tyres. He'll want to close that gap to Langstar before his tyres give out in a couple of laps' time. 1.7 seconds is the gap there. Fastest lap so far for him is 1:45. Langstar with 1:43, so a lot of work to do for him. So Francesco, he is 7/10 behind Evan. It's Italian chasing down a Frenchman. Can he make this work? He's on the hard tyres, so he's got some pace to come later. There's McRae. He's opted this time for a start on those hard tyres. I think the people are starting to realise that this is actually probably the quickest strategy and gives you the best opportunity to nick some places towards the end. Because it just seems if you're on those hard tyres at the end, it's very difficult because you don't have the traction coming out of the corners. Very difficult to make anything of it. Oscar Stepper in 9th place. The gap back to Kamalek now is 2.4 seconds almost, and he's running last because everyone's favourite Mustard is in the pits. Has quit from this race. Wasn't having a great day and has decided he doesn't want to play anymore. He could be. He's got other stuff going on. There is Timmy still in the lead. It's not huge. He isn't pulling super away, but that's because Dachu behind him is on the medium compound tyres. Is he able to make a pass here? He's got 2 laps left on those tyres. We're on lap 4 now. That's if he can make them last long enough. I'm a bit concerned for Dachu that he might not make it to lap 5, although he's taken an awful lot out of those tyres in this opening sequence. We may actually see him pitting at the end of this lap for some hard compound tyres. I know the hards will last out. They'll be a bit ropey towards the end, but they'll certainly last to the end of the race. The question being is whether that undercut is a good strategy to certainly to the other medium tyre runners, of which there aren't many, to be honest. But he doesn't seem to be closing any closer. He really does need to hold those tyres out just for one more lap, really. Ideally. Exocet on the hard tyres, of course. He's running in 3rd place, 2.4 behind Dachu, but he'll take that 2nd place when Dachu peels off into the pits sometime in the next lap or so. Langstar changed his strategy for those hard tyres. He's under some pressure now from the medium tyre Shark Racing Team driver Tinino from Italy. He is closing down on Langstar. He does have the medium tyres, but again, he's going to have to pit earlier, so Langstar's not going to be too concerned with that. He has the fastest lap, actually, at the moment, at 1:42.7. You would have thought Exocet, Dachu, being where he is, will be, but he definitely has to come in on this lap 4. He's really taken it out of those tyres, but he doesn't. He stays out. He's going to be. Those tyres are ropey. Can he keep the car on the road with those tyres? I've got to say, I don't think he's looked at those tyres. I don't think he realises. And now, maybe the grip is still there for him. I've seen what happens with tyres like that. They just let go, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think you should be afraid, to be very afraid. And all this is going to do, this is going to allow Timmy just to open up that gap. It's going to allow Exocet to close in on Dachu. And if Dachu has a really poor lap here, he could find himself losing out to more than just Exocet. That gap's down to 1.2 seconds, and it's closing fast. So Dachu held it out 1 lap longer than his tyres were prepared for, and he's now in a little bit of trouble. He's only got a few corners left, if he can make it, of course. And then we'll see him come in. We'll also see Who else coming? Who else is on the medium tyres? Where is he? Where's he gone? Oh, he's already been. He's well, way at the back of the pack, so his tyres have let go. Tino, even. Yeah, so his tyres have let him go and spiraled into the back of the pack, and he's going to come in this lap. He's going to be miles behind. So Dijon just staying in the pit position, didn't want to partake of this particular race today. So Timmy's 4.1 seconds clear. Daciu now has Exocet all over his rear wing. He's going to peel off to this left-hand side and into the pits he goes. He did manage to get it home, but lost so much time doing it. Langster goes through. Evan will go through, of course. Francesco as well. Oscar Stepa, Kamilek, McRider maybe. Where does Daciu come out? So he's in. Tinny is also in. And when they come back out, they'll be on the hard compound tyres and some way back. So I think it's going to be a difficult race for those two at this stage. Daciu was in a slightly better position, but lost a lot of time on that previous lap when he lost a lot of time. So there is Timmy leading this race, 4.6 seconds. He'll come in at the end of this lap, swap those tyres out for the medium compound tyres. Should come back out in the lead from Exocet, from Francia. He is in second place, 1.5 clear of Langster, who has changed his strategy and gone for the hard compound tyre this time. And I think that's going to make the difference. Last time out, he was running really well in this sort of position, but had to run from second place the hard compound tyre, and it just allowed him to get swallowed up by Evan, who was chasing him down. But now Exocet is back in amongst it. It's going to be a four-way battle, I think, for the top. Well, no, it's not. It's going to be Timmy, and then a three-way battle for second and third. If we're completely honest, that's what's going to happen. It'll be Timmy wins this race, unless of course he has a problem, and then Exocet, Langster and Evan will fight it out for the other three places. But saying that, I mean, Francesco's not too far off the back of that. He could get himself involved. We know that Oscar Stepa can put in a decent lap or two, so there's always opportunity. We'll see everyone piling into the pits now, other than Daciu and Tini of Poland and Italy respectively. How many places will they be able to make up is the question. So Daciu comes through as we see Timmy coming out. Where does that put Daciu? Second. He's ahead of Exocet. He's ahead of Evan. What does Cronus Max mean? Right, so Timmy 4.1 seconds clear. Daciu up into second place, but he's on those hard tyres, and he's got three very fast, very hungry drivers behind him in the form of Exocet from France, Evan also from France, and Langster from the United Kingdom. I don't know why I did that in a semi-American accent. Yeah, absolutely no explanation for that rubbish. Francesco, though, looking very racy now on those medium tyres. I think Langster's going to have a little job on his hands with a bit of pressure from the Italian behind him. So we've got the only Dutch driver, Timmy, absolutely dominating today, out in the lead, 4.4 seconds clear. He's now everybody has had their stop and they're racing to the end. Daciu, the only one in that top group on hard tyres. It's going to be a very, very difficult task to keep Exocet, Evan, Langster, and maybe even Francesco away from him. Now he's got the first target, of course, is Exocet, and here he is trying to hunt down Daciu. He's getting closer. He's going to have a much better exit out of this corner onto the straight. He's going to be tucked in under that wing. He's going to get a bit of slipstream. It won't be enough under slipstream to make the overtake, but he'll be a lot closer coming into turn one, and that might give him an opportunity. Turn one's not necessarily a great overtaking zone, but it can set him up for an overtake later on. And it's good. The thing is, it is difficult to overtake it. There's not a huge amount of places you can do it. So basically what you've got to do is you've got to close up on that car and then wait for them to go wide or make an error, or use one of those couple of overtaking spots to make the move. And he's so much quicker than him, Exocet, but he can't find a way through at the moment. Round the outside here, this is a good overtaking spot with a little switcheroo, but very, very good defending there from Dachu. He was prepared to sacrifice a bit of pace there to maintain second position in this race. And this is just allowing Timmy to pull away out front. But what's happening here now, because Exocet's being held up by Dachu, is bringing Evan and Langster and Francesco all into this mix. And he tries to make a move around the outside, can't make it stick there. But Evan now trying to make a move on Exocet. So a bit of an issue now for Exocet is that while he's trying to get around Dachu, he's got to worry about the cars behind making the move on him. That he does not want his countrymen to be stealing that third place. But Dachu at the moment is doing a fabulous job of defending from Exocet. This is the view from behind the car, of course. This is where we can see Evan chasing him down. If we look from the back of... this is the view I want that one there. Look at that. Exocet making the move. Side by side. Where is he? Exocet does make the move. Finally gets that move done. So Dachu swallowed up by Exocet. Now we've got Evan looking to make a move as well. He's not really tucked in that slipstream too much. You would have thought he'd be tucked in a bit closer in the Prima Racing car. But into turn one, he backs off. Exocet has made the move stick. He's up into second. We've got Evan chasing down Dachu now, who's on the hard compound tyres. Timmy, meanwhile, 7 seconds clear already. There is the battle behind fourth. I said it was going to be a big battle for third. Evan's trying to make the move now. Does he make the move stick? Into the braking zone. Evan makes the move past Dachu. Langster next. Langster and Francesco both vying to make this move on the back of Dachu. So there is Langster. He is the next target, trying to get around Dachu. So Dachu moving all the way down the order. And it must be so frustrating. You're on the, you've done a really good job and you've got yourself into the top 3. But everyone around you is on much softer tyres and looking so much quicker than you, no matter how well you're doing. It's getting a drink on board, getting a drink on board. So, full rundown. We've got Timmy 7.7 seconds clear of Exocet, who's now just under a second clear of Evan. So back, this was the top 3 in race number 1. Looks like it's going to be the top 3 again in race number 3. So we didn't have Exocet in and amongst it last time out because he didn't qualify. Dachu in 4th place, doing a stellar job. He did a really good job holding off Exocet, but couldn't do it forever. Evan made a really, really brave move on him. Made that there. Langster is trying to make the move on Dachu now. He's got Francesco to worry about. So not only has he got to try and attack, he's got to try and defend. And he's looking. Can't make the move there. And at the moment, it's so difficult when you're looking at the car in front and trying to find a way around. But you've got to be concerned with when you make that move. Does Francesco, as Langster just locks up a wheel, does a little slide. Francesco goes through up into 5th place. So Langster dropping down the order. He's got some work to do here now. And we can see Dachu just hold it. And you can see how much slower Dachu is than everybody else. But how good a job he's doing for the HRT team. Just holding everyone up because we've got this little train forming behind him of Francesco, Langster and Oscar Stepper. And we see the move finally. We do see that move. Francesco goes through. Dachu gets the place immediately back though. And Langster was trying to capitalise in Dachu's slipstream and make his way around Francesco. But that doesn't happen. So Dachu holding off for 4th place at the moment. This is the only place to see this action. And let's watch it from the perspective of Oscar Stepper, because this is the battle unfolding in front of him. And actually, to be fair, he's in a really good position, because if these 3 do have a coming together, and of course that's not what we want to see, he's going to benefit greatly from that. So here we go into the end of lap 10, coming up to the final lap. Dachu has 1 lap to try and hold off the charge from Francesco, from Langster. And Langster making the move on Francesco. Inside line for Francesco. He'll get that place back. Little touch on Langster. He takes him off the track. That's going to have to be looked at by the stewards, unfortunately, I think. Was that just a racing incident? I think we'll look at the replay and make a judgment. But did he give him sufficient room there, or did he force him out wide? That's the question. Was that a racing incident, or was that elbows out? So that's dropped Langston down to 7th place, 2.1 seconds away from that battle. So he is out of the battle for the top 3. In fact, they're all out of the battle for the top 3 now. So that Dachu did such a good job holding them up. What that served to do was to allow Timmy, who's 10.5 seconds clear, Exocet and Evan just to pull away out the front. And Evan is not too far behind Exocet. Who was that facing the wrong way? That was Dijon, who's finally out on track. Don't know what's going on. He must have a problem with his wheel. That's all I can think of. So he's finally started the race. He's on lap 2. So here we've got Evan trying to close down on Exocet. We haven't got long left in this race. Can he make a move on him? He certainly closed that gap down. 3.4 ahead of Francesco in 4th. Dachu in 5th. Oscar Stepa, he's in 6th place now. Langston jumped down to 7th after coming together with Francesco, which I think will be a steward. The steward will have to look at that steward and make a judgment call. I don't know what the situation is with stewarding for Fusion, to be honest. I didn't watch Timmy cross the line. Sorry about that, mate. But you know, you've seen it all before. It's a bit boring now. Timmy is your winner, of course. Exocet will come home in 2nd. Evan couldn't close him down there. He's in 3rd place, Evan. Francesco, elbows out, 4th place for him. Dachu holds them off. And then Oscar Stepa and Langston come home just behind him in 6th and 7th place. Kamalek in 8th. Tinino comes home in 9th place. Muck Rider, or MC Rider, however you want to pronounce it, it's Muck Rider, clearly. And that's a very not Italian name, Muck Rider. It's not. There's nothing Italian about that at all. Yeah, it could, you know what, I could be wrong. It could be a very popular Italian name. Dijon has finished this race after just 2 laps. Muck Rider comes home in 10th. But Dijon basically sat in the pits for the whole race. I think he's had some problems with his wheel because he's on a go slow, or was on a go slow. So there we go. There's your top 3. Timmy wins again. 3 races from 3. Another 2nd place for Exocet. Another podium for Evan. So 3 podiums for Evan. 3 1st places for Timmy. 2 podiums for Exocet. Just the 1 podium for Langston. Dachu he's my driver of that race. I mean, he held those cars off for so long. And it did 2 things. One, it allowed the front 3 to just pull away, but also it brought others into the fight. Really, really clever defending by Dachu all the way through that race. Langston couldn't find a way through. Francesco could, Evan could, and Exocet could. So they all go through. They stopped through Timmy, Exocet, and Evan. So that's 3 races down. We've got 1 race left to go. 1 more 5-minute qualifying, then 1 more 11-lap race to complete an entire season now of GT Fusion. And there is the back of Timmy again. So that's 3 times we've seen that now. 3 times we've seen the pole position and the clean race little thingy. Boring. Let's see someone else. Come on, someone else put a challenge in on him. Come on. Someone else put a challenge in, please. So that's that done and dusted. We're going to have a little reset. We're going to go qualify again. New lobby opening in 2 minutes. So, yeah, we're doing this. We are doing this. Change the lobby thingy-jiggity. So, what do we think? Do we think, can Timmy be beat? Can he be caught? What will it take to beat him? Obviously, him not qualifying on the front row might help, possibly. Yeah, so yeah, Timmy might miss him. He probably won't, but he might do. And if that's the case, then maybe, just maybe, somebody else can have a crack at winning a race here. But at the moment, Timmy looking absolutely dominant here. But some good racing all round from everybody. Really. Very, very close. closer, I think, all the way throughout. I'm just waiting for a new lobby to come up for us, of course. Right, so let's get this new room open, shall we? Have a little looky-see and then get qualifying. Where is it? Where's my new lobby? It's not up yet. Just waiting for the lobby and then we will get involved. We will. Back in a sec. We are back once again. A couple of people out on track, just chucking a few laps in before qualifying starts. I think everybody is in now. I think, yep. We've got all 11 drivers in. We did lose Nirian quite early on because he had a rig problem, which is why we've only got 11 of the 12 runners here this evening. But this man here, Timmy, I don't even know why he's bothering to practice. He has been absolutely devastatingly awesome from race number 1. He has 3 pole positions. He has 3 fastest laps. And that's when Timmy makes a mistake. Yeah, 3 fastest laps, 3 pole positions, 3 race wins. The only way I can see anybody's going to stop this man is if he has just a bad qualifying. Just can't see it. I just can't see it happening. So here we go. 5 minutes of qualifying here. It'll be just two hot laps, and then we will be race number 4 underway. Now, so far the top 3 has been it was Timmy and then Exocet and Evan were the top 3 for race number 1. Race number 2 was Timmy, Evan and Langster. Langster benefiting from Exocet not being able to qualify in race number 2. And then race number 3, it was the same again. It was Timmy, then Exocet, then Evan. So are we going to see a different top 3? That is my question. Is it going to be the same old top 3, or is it going to be something different this time? Can Evan or Exocet do anything to catch Timmy? Or is he literally just that quick and no one's going to catch him? Who is out in front of us at the first lap? Langster again, first out to qualify. Very quick off the block. He's Langster, I suppose, because he knows when he's starting, because he's the host. So he presses start and then he's already driving. So he'll be the first one to obviously get in the room, won't he? Because that's the way this shizzle works. We did have a little bit of lag early on. That seems to have dissipated. It's in a much better condition now, the lobby. And I've got to say, since the update, actually, since the last couple of updates, the lobbies have been much better. The last Fusion, we had some awful lag in some of the lobbies. And I do want to give a shout out to the Black Flag guys that are racing in a joint venture with HKRT. We've got them in a number of different groups. I can tell you who those groups are. So we've got J49 is racing in Group M, Lounge 13. We'll find out who we got on a bit later on. We've got Avalon racing in Lounge 9, Group I. And I know that we've got Star Group and Stormfly racing in with Group J. And I know they've had a couple of 1-2s in that group so far already. Certainly in 2 of the 3 races, so congratulations to them. Unfortunately, we can't televise everything. So this is Group D being televised, and maybe we'll get a replay. If they save the replays, I might stick them up. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. If they save the replays, I will put them up. Didn't do it last time out purely because the lag was so awful. It just wasn't worth it. I did try and do them, but it was just awful lag. So, who's set the fastest lap so far? Nobody. They're just finishing the lap. So it's about 1 minute 40 lap on it. And we haven't seen the 1:39 yet. Fastest lap we've seen so far today was a 1:40.1 from Timmy, and that was in qualifying, the first qualifying session, the 15-minute qualifying session before race number 1. We thought we might see a sub 1:40, 1:39.9 maybe, but it just hasn't happened. I wonder if Timmy can do it this time. Can he? Will he get on pole again? Is essentially the question. I think it's Camilex will be first across the line, isn't it? No, it's not. Who is not? Who's parked up? Is that Dijon parked up again? I don't understand. If you're not racing, just leave. Maybe. Don't know. So there we go. Evan with the fastest lap, 1:41.0, and there we go. Timmy with a 1:40.7. Come on in, Timmy. If you're going to get pole position, give us a 1:39, man. Give us a 1:39, please. Timothy. So Timmy with a 1:40.7 on the front row with Evan 1:41.0. Exocet on row 2 with a 41.0 as well. Dachu on row 2 alongside him with a 41.2. Will Dachu change his tactics this time and go for start on hard tyres? because starting on the medium size last time did cost him towards the end of the race. Langster in row 3, 41.3, alongside McRider, the highest placed Italian at the moment. Row 4 is Tonino, the other Italian, and Kamilek, 42.2 for him, 42.1 for Tonino. Then we've got Oscar Stepper, 142.3. He's on row 5 with Francesco for company, who did a 155.8. He's going to improve on that, definitely. That was a bad lap for him. And then Dijon, again, he's parking up at the side of the road for no apparent reason. Don't really understand his thought process there. If you're not going to race, if you're not going to race, just leave, man. It's just silly. Just silly. I thought he might be having some problems with his wheel or something, but I don't know, he's just not setting times or anything. So, big improvement from Langster, puts himself onto the front row. Still 40.7 from Timmy. You can see what his second lap is. Langster's second lap was a 40.8, put him on the front row with Timmy. Evan drops down to row 2. Improved slightly, but not enough. That's a 41.044 for him. Exocet with a 41.0, but he's got another lap to set here. He'll cross the line. That's a 40.9. That puts him ahead of Evan, but they stay on row number 2. Dachu with a 41.3 doesn't improve his time. He's 5th on the grid, alongside Oscar Stepper, who does improve with a 41.6. Row 4 being McRider with his 41.8, and Tonino, who didn't improve on his time, but 42.1. Kamilek on row 5 with a 42.2, had a really bad next lap there, to be fair, and he will be alongside Francesco, who can only manage a 42.5 this time out, and Dijon not participating today, really. Timmy didn't improve on his 40.7, but does remain in pole position, so that is 4 pole positions from 4 races for Timmy. Well done to him. Really good racing from him. So, are we going to have a similar top 3 to last time? Langster with that's a good front row start for him, actually, considering. So the race will start in, I think you're going to get a 2-minute warning for the race start. Qualifying has finished. Race starting in 2 minutes, and then we can jump in. So we've got on pole, we've got Timmy from KKR. If someone wants to tell me what KKR means, I've forgotten. Then we've got Langster from Amigos Racing Team in second place, joining him on the front row. Exocet from RWS heads up row number 2, just ahead of the Prima driver, Evan. That is your front 4, of course. Then we've got Dachu in 5th, racing for HRT. And that's not hormone replacement therapy. It's something completely different from that. Then we've got Oscar Stepper. He's alongside Dachu. Oscar Stepper is racing for Max Torque Energy, MTE. Then we've got McRider, the lead Italian driver. McRider is racing for the Wolf Factory Racing, of course. And he's got a teammate in Francesco. Francesco, unfortunately, is in 10th place on the grid. Then we've got Tonino in 8th. He's on row. He's alongside McRider on row 4. Tonino racing for the Shark Racing Team. He was he's supposed to be the host today, but it's Langster doing it instead. He didn't accept my friend request anyway. It's just what it was, Langster, because otherwise I wouldn't have got in the room, would I? Yeah, no, Exocet's doing very well, Vortex, very well indeed. Showing some good pace. I think if it wasn't for the fact that Timmy is just absolutely uncatchable, yeah, I think he'd be there or thereabouts. The race will begin shortly, and then I can jump in and watch it. So here we go. This is race number 4. Let's actually get in for the start this time, shall we? So it's Timmy from Langster from Exocet. Then we've got Evan. They're the ones you want to watch. Those front 4 have been the only ones finishing on the podium today. Is anyone else going to get involved in that? And you know what we've got to do? They're going to get away, and I'm going to have to do this, and then I'm going to have to do that. Otherwise, I don't get the right view. So everyone away cleanly. No one has crashed. Timmy in the lead, of course, as we would expect. Langster holding second. Anyone making a move on him? Evan making a move on the inside. It's carnage into turn one. And Evan makes that move past Langster. Langster dropping down. He's starting on the mediums again this time. So Timmy starting on the hards. Evan starting on the hards. Langster's gone back to the medium compound tyres to start. Not sure that was a wise idea. Bear in mind, he's lost that position already. He needs to be moving forward, not backwards. Exocet, he's starting on the hard tyres. You watch out for him. He's going to be one to watch, certainly. Oscar Stepper in 5th place on the hard compound tyres. Then Tonino in 6th place. He is on the hard compounds as well. He's got McRider behind him, who's also on the hard. I think everybody's on the hards, aren't they, apart from Langston so far. Kamalek also on the hard tyres. He is in 8th place. He's got Francesco. Francesco's already made up 1 place. Dachu has dropped right down the order. So that little bit of carnage into turn 1 has not been kind to Dachu. He is down in 10th place. Also on the hard compound tyres. And then Dijon, already 7 seconds adrift. Is he having... he must be having some sort of problem. Because look, it shows him in 6th gear, but only doing 90 miles an hour. So I don't know what's going on there. There's something certainly very, very wrong with Dijon's equipment, I think. Don't know is the answer to that question. So the only man out there on the medium tyres is Langster. The only way this is going to work, he has to get past Evan here. Absolutely has to. Remember, he's going to run to lap 5. He's going to go in a lap earlier than everybody else. He's then going to be on the hard compound tyres, which is 2 seconds a lap slower. He did pull out there looking to make a move on Evan, but Evan just keeping that car ahead of him into turn 1. There's going to be an opportunity for an overtake at some stage, but when? When can Langster make this move? No idea why we still got a BGM music playing, because I have turned it off myself. There's always bugs, isn't there? There's always bugs. So there is Langster still in 3rd place, trying to find a way past Evan. Exocet sitting comfortably in 4th place at the moment. He knows that if Langster's on those mediums, obviously they don't necessarily know what tyres their competitors are on, but they certainly will when the pit stops happen. But he knows that if Langster is on those medium tyres, that he's in a very good position there. And let's face it, if you start on the hard tyres, it seems to be that has been the premium strategy here today. So top 4 are the only people that have been on the podium. At the moment, it doesn't look like that's going to change. We thought we might see some moves from Francesco, didn't qualify too well. Dachu, who was really, really solid in that last race, had a problem into turn 1. He is 2 seconds back. And Mr. Mustard is in the pits again, quitting the race. If you're out for that long, you might as well just rage quit if you're not going to get involved. As much as I hate rage quitting, it just doesn't make any sense to stay there. Surely he shouldn't be picking up any sort of ranking from these events for just not doing anything. Surely not. So Timmy is in the lead, 1.5 seconds. Langster does make that move on Evan up into 2nd place. His next job is to close that gap, although Evan makes a great move up into turn 1 and takes that 2nd position straight back from Langster. So Langster's going to be, I think Langster's going to struggle here, because everyone around him is going to be on the medium compound tyre. I think he should have gone on the hards. What do you guys think? Do you think he should have been on the hards and given himself a better chance here? Because at the moment, if he can't get past Evan and open up a bit of a gap, he's going to struggle when the pits happen. And that for him will be in 2 laps time. We're on lap 3 here. Can you believe we are literally just 8 laps away from the end of GT Fusion for 2022? The race has been fabulous all the way throughout, and it has not let us down today, and the quality just gets better and better and better. So where are we at the back of the pack? We're going to ignore Mr. Mustard. He's in the pits. Dachu, he's closed down on the back of Kamalek now. 1.1 seconds is the gap. He has we're closer to under a second almost now, so he should be coming up on him soon to make a move. 1.9 seconds behind Francesco is Kamilek even. Francesco is just behind his teammate. These two are very, very similar in terms of pace, these two Italian teammates. So Francesco all over the back of McRider. Will team orders? Are they working on the premise that if one is faster than the other, the Wolf Racing team will say, "Look, get out his way," or do they just let them race? Doesn't matter because Francesco makes that move himself anyway, up into 7th place. Tonino for the Shark Racing team. He is just ahead of Oscar Stepper. He makes that move on Oscar Stepper, who drops down as McRider takes that place back from Francesco. So Oscar Stepper drops down to 6th place. Tonino moves up to 5th. 2.1 seconds to the top 4. Top 4 being Exocet for RWS, currently running in 4th place. 1.1 seconds behind Evan, who has been overtaken again by Langster, who's running on those medium compound tyres. And there is Langster, 2.8 seconds behind Timmy, who has just been uncatchable today. And it's such a shame it's the last race, because I think we can see Timmy moving up into the elite groups, which will be tomorrow. The 3 pro category groups will be racing tomorrow. Not here. It'll be on one of the other broadcasts. They have broadcasters covering those already. I have not been invited to no one lets me near the top end stuff because I'm rude and obnoxious and character assassinate people on a regular basis. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But you can catch them live on, I think, Benjex Motors and TXT 141, whatever it's called, TX 141. There's your leader, KKR driver. Timmy, 2.6 seconds clear is Timmy, and he's absolutely dominating, to be fair. Langster with the fastest lap at the moment. To be expected is he's the only one running those medium compound tyres. Gap to Evan, 1.4 seconds. It's about a second and a half to 2 seconds a lap difference in terms of pace between the mediums and the hards. So that gap is just not enough right now. Evan running at a, to be fair, the difference between these two pace, it's not even a second. Langster's best lap of 42.9 on the mediums. Evans is a 43.3 on the hards. So it's only not even half a second's difference. With Evan behind the wheel, of course. But we don't know what Evan's going to be doing on the medium compound tyres, of course. Exocet running in 4th place. He's 1.2 seconds behind, but on those hard tyres at the moment. And I'm glad I saved one beer from one beer left from yesterday after football. And I saved it until race number 2, so I still have some left at the end. And have a mouthful left to swig when they cross the line. How about that then? Tonino, I don't even know how I'm saying it right. Tini, the Italian, he is 2.3 seconds back, racing for the Shark Racing team, of course. 2.3 seconds behind those front 4. Honestly, I can't see beyond those front 4 for the top 3 spots. And in all honesty, I think with Langster being on the hard tyres in the second stint, and he'll pit at the end of this lap for those hard tyres, I think he's going to struggle to keep Evan and Exocet away from him. And there he goes, he's into the pits. We'll see a few cars go through, but obviously once others pit and it rights itself, will be further up the field, of course. Oscar Stepper is up to 5th, of course, now. Francesco up to 6th place. He's now 1.7 seconds ahead of his teammate. So where they were running quite close together, he's now showing his pace. There is his teammate, of course, from the Wolf Racing team, who has got Dachu crawling all over him. Does Dachu make the move? It certainly has got the inside line here. Under braking, who's bravest? Dachu still with the inside line, but doesn't get the move done early enough, because now McRider's got the inside line here and will keep that place. Dachu again trying to make the move. He does make the move this time. Does Kamilek follow him through? Big tank slapper for him. He does rescue it. Doesn't go flying off. Dachu up to 7th, but this battle is still raging. McRider back ahead again into 7th place. Dachu cannot make the move stick, and all this is doing, this is dragging Camel along with them and getting him involved in this battle, and soon he's just going to say, I've had enough of this, and he's going to go through and leave the pair of you behind, because that's what happens. This is race number 4 of the 4 races here. We are approaching night time now, so we do one in the morning, we do one sort of afternoon time, one oh, little touch there on Dachu from Camelac, puts Dachu off the track. Lancaster is in 10th place, but he has been in the pits, and obviously Dijon is in the pits because that's where he's decided to spend the last 2 races. Your race leader coming into the pits at the end of lap 6 is Timmy. We'll see everybody else coming in now. This will be key as to where we see Lancaster come out. He's 31 seconds behind the leader right now. He's now on those hard tyres, so not going to have the pace he had in the first stint. Where will he come out? He's going to need to be as close to Timmy as possible if he wants a top 3 here, because Timmy, Exocet, and I forgot his name, Evan, will all be on it like a car bonnet. So Lancaster is out in 2nd. We thought he'd be there or thereabouts. He's 4 seconds behind Timmy. Now he's got Exocet 3 seconds behind him. And what happened to Evan? Because Evan is way back in 6th place. So did he just put he just must have had a slow pit stop. I don't know what happened there. He's actually got less fuel on board than everybody else. So I don't know, just burnt more fuel in the first stint. So he's got some work to do. So it is advantage Lancaster, advantage Exocet, because their biggest challenge for a top 3 in Evan is way back in 6th place. So Evan is going to have to overtake Oscar Stepper and Tinny just to get on the back of Exocet. 12 seconds off the lead. He's he's got Francesco crawling all over him. So his focus at the moment isn't attack, it's defence. He's got to stop Francesco from finding a way around him, all the while trying to rein in Oscar Stepper, who is 1.5 seconds ahead. So full rundown. So let's go from back to front, shall we? Mr. Mustard in the pits. Kamalek running in 10th place. He's 1.3 seconds behind Dachu. Dachu is normally very quick, and he had a problem in turn 1, and it sent him all the way down the order, and it's given him a very, very difficult task to work his way back into the top 5. 4.8 seconds up the road is McRider from the Wolf Factory Racing team, and he's 7.7 seconds behind his teammate Francesco CF 1991. Both Italian drivers, of course. He is half a second behind Evan, trying to make some moves on the Prima driver, who had a very, very slow pit stop and didn't come back out in the top 4 as we expected. He is now closing down on Oscar Stepper. That gap was 1.5 seconds. It's now half that. In fact, it's still closing. But Evan's got to keep an eye out behind him, because he's got Francesco bearing down on the back of that BRZ. Oscar Stepper 1.4 seconds behind Tonino 17 of Italia for the Shark Racing team. 3.3 seconds back from Exocet, who only missed out really, I think, on a podium in race number 2 because he had a disconnection and couldn't qualify at the start from the rear of the pack. 1.8 seconds is the gap to Lancaster. That was 3 seconds. Lancaster is the only driver out there running on the hard compound tyre. 5.5 seconds to Timmy. Timmy has dominated from the moment we started right up to this point here. He has all 4 pole positions. He has 3 wins so far. It's looking very much like a 4th win. He doesn't have the fastest lap yet in this race, but don't count it out just yet. And there we go. As we say it, there he puts it in. So that will be 4 fastest laps for him. Very, very dominant race today from the KKR driver. And quite interesting, actually, because the last time I had a KKR driver in this lobby, it was Sieger, who I think has now moved up to the pro groups, if I remember rightly. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he has moved up to the pro groups. So Leinster still holding on in second, but the gap now, Exeter is only 3/10 of a second. So the speed on those medium compound tyres, so much better. He's done exactly a 1:42 to the exact second. Exeter. Can he do it again? Here's the challenge. Can you give me an exact 2 laps exactly the same? I mean, very consistent to be fair. Lap 3, 4, 5, not much difference in those. Then he went in the pits at the end of lap 6, of course. Came out at lap 7, done a 1 and just chucked in a 1:42 and closed that gap to Leinster. Now it's 3 seconds back to Tinino. Now the question is, can Tinny, for Christ's sake, his name's Tinny. Can he close up that, what is now a 2.8 second gap? So first he can get around Leinster. Leinster's got only a couple of laps, basically 3 laps to hold him off. Then can Tinio close that 2.6 second gap that he's got to Exeter? And Exeter has made the move now around Leinster. Leinster's going to be powerless to defend that on the hard tyres. So 2 seconds is that gap. Tinio coming fast. Why you come fast on those medium tyres? 1.8 seconds is the gap. He's going to have to catch him. He's going to have to pass him, and at least then we will have a different driver in the top 3. Titinio from the Shark Racing team. The man who didn't accept my friend request and therefore wouldn't have got in the room if he had been hosting. There's my dig over. And Leinster, not content. He's not giving this up. He doesn't care that he is on. And it looks like Evans had a problem. No, he hasn't. Sorry, not Evan. We've lost him. We've had a disconnection. I feel for him. Exeter has disconnected from this race, so that has put Leinster back in the driving seat, back up into second. I thought he'd taken the position off him, but he's been disconnected. He must be absolutely fuming. I bet he is screaming at the screen right now. So Timmy's going to remain unchallenged in the lead, 9.7 seconds clear. Leinster is 1.3 seconds clear. Just coming to the end of lap 10, he's got 1 lap to hold off Titinio for second place. But it does mean that we are going to have one new person in that top 3, unless of course Evan can close him down. And Evan is on fire now. He's done the fastest lap of the race actually. He's gone to Dachu. So Dachu has put in the fastest lap of the race, 1:41.6. So is this going to be the first race where Timmy doesn't get fastest lap? That'd be something, wouldn't it? If somebody else can put in a faster lap than him, because he's been so quick all day long. But I wouldn't bet against Evan being the man that does it, because he's closing down on Timmy. He now sees a potential top 3 here. He's been in the top 3 in all 3 races so far. He will not want to be dropping outside of it now. We're on the final lap of the race. Timmy has won this race. He's 10 seconds clear. A crash or a disconnection is the only thing that's going to stop him from rounding this out. 4 from 4. Leinster 10 seconds back. He is half a second up from Tinny, who is half a second up from Evan, and this is the battle that's raging on. Let's watch this battle from the back of Leinster's car, because this is what he sees in his mirror, and it's Tinny and Evan chasing him down. But the top 3 has got to be the target for those 2 cars behind. At the minute, Tinny is in that top 3, and it'll be the first time anyone other than Timmy, Leinster, Evan, or Exeter have been in the top 3. So Tinny will round out. So we've got Tinny and a Timmy. But Evan has been in the top 3 for the last 3 races and will want to be in there again. And at the moment, it's not looking like it's happening. He's not closing down quick enough, and it looks like Leinster has done enough to stay ahead. Is there going to be a last-minute lunge on him to try and steal that place? But there is your winner. He has been absolutely flawless all day. It's 4 wins from 4. He's not going to get the fastest lap this time. Or he might do still. No, he's not. He's not going to get the fastest lap. But he's done what he needed to do. 4 wins from 4 for Timmy. And here's Leinster. He's got Timmy's there right in behind him. Just one more corner to go. Can he hold him off? It looks like Langston's going to hold off Tinny, and he gets second place. Great race from Langster. Tinny in third. Evan can't make another podium in fourth. Francesco in fifth. Oscar Stepper in sixth. Then McRyder will come home in seventh place. The big story of the day, though, the big story is going to be Exocet. He got disconnected in qualifying 2. Had to start from the back of the grid. That cost him a podium place. He got disconnected from third place in this race, sorry, second place in this race after taking Langster down. Took him down at Chinatown. Then he got disconnected and disappeared. But Ryder comes home in seventh, of course. Daci comes home in eighth and gets to carry the fastest lap trophy home to show his kids in 100 this time. And Kamilek comes in at the rear of the pack, and Mr. Mustard quit a race ago. So there we have it. GT Fusion's finished, folks. That's it. It's done. It is an X competition. We've had 6 rounds here at GT Fusion. You know what? Great race from Langston. Great race. To be fair, I didn't. When I saw he was the only one that started on the medium tyres, I thought this boy's in trouble. He's in big trouble, and I think he would have been had Exocet not disconnected. But I think if Evan had had a better stop, I think Evan would have been in there. But great race from everyone. To be fair, it's been really, really cool to do. But so we've had 6 rounds of GT Fusion this year on GT7. Each round has got better than the last. But we are at the end of our journey this year. No more GT Fusion for 2023. Yeah, it was a great race. Thank you for all joining in. Anyone that's in my chat right now, seriously, click the subscribe button. Give the video a like if you like what you see. There will be loads of stuff. We've got loads of stuff coming up over Christmas. Lots of one-off stuff and some fun stuff and all sorts of things. So you don't want to miss any of that. But yeah, so that's it. End of GT Fusion for 2022. I'm going to miss it, man. Going to miss it. But there is plenty of other stuff going on Black Flag Racing TV. And we'll be back with GT Fusion in 2023. Oh, no, it's 2022, isn't it? Idiot. So we'll be back in 2023 with GT Fusion. We haven't finished 2023 yet. We finished 2022. But this was AUTOPOLIS International Racing Circuit in the Subaru BRZ GT 300. This was Group D, Round 6 of GT Fusion. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV. With GT Fusion, and it's been emotional. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you. Join me on another video another time, or I'll see you on Fusion next year. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Laters.